Why is my can?
Grab your seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr bringing topics of all kinds, from cigars to sports, family and more. Everyday stories you'll want to explore. So take a puff or ponder away. Join the talk, it's the highlight of your day. Puff and ponder where the sparks ignite. Conversations blazing day or night. Tune in now, let the stories take flight. It's the Puff and Ponder podcast, where we get it right. From fast cars to last night's game, family laughs or today's big name. We've got the topics, we've got the vibe. Stay tuned in and enjoy the ride. So lean back, relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. I'm your host, Kevin Shahan from Cigar Prop, joining my co-host, Kerr, Viajante of Stogie Road Cigars, and joining us tonight, Ryan Miller of the Rocky Mountain Cigar Show. What's I'm just gonna start. I'm gonna start right off before we talk. What's everybody smoking? Because I just literally got home like 45 minutes ago. I haven't had a cigar yet, so I need.
Thank you. I need to light something too. I'll go first. Salida Red.
Oh, right on.
I bought my very first box of Salida Red at TGS because, well, we'll talk about it later. But the deals were amazing. The pricing was great.
Oh yeah. I know. I spent a little more money than I should have as well.
What are you smoking, Kev?
I am from the TGS box, the Trinidad, the Espirito. I don't know what number this is. I don't have my glasses on, but yeah, that's the one, the Trinidad. So this is. I figure I smoke it now before Jessica finds it. This is one of her favorites as well.
I thought the Tommy Bahama was in the pack, but I guess not, huh?
No, that was in the. I think that was
Cigar
in
of
this
the Month Club.
Cigar of the Month Club, yeah. Kerr, what are you smoking?
Actually, I started off a little while ago with a really good bundle cigar that I've been really digging. It's the Arganese.
Arganese. Is that how you pronounce that?
One.
Yeah.
It's
only like a couple of bucks. I mean, really, it's only like $4, $3. You're doing, a little bit more than retail. Some really great, flavors to it. It's Nicaraguan. And then my next cigar is going to be the West Tampa Black.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Hashimoto, what's going on? Good evening from Nashville. Kerr's going to be in Nashville soon. Yeah. It's Wednesday. Well, we Kerr had a thing on Monday. I was out of town this weekend as well, so I had to get some stuff finalized on Monday. We wanted to do the Great Smoke recap show. Ryan's available on Wednesday, so we'll figure let's do a Wednesday night and kick it off the TGS recap. Kerr, you were saying you said you were on back behind the green room, a modified Daniel diet. What is that?
Well, the Daniel diet, Daniel from the Bible, lived off the land, ate locusts. I'm not eating locusts, but I mean, grain.
That's why it's modified.
Yeah, that's modified.
Yeah.
I have Jen outside right now collecting locusts. But no, I like grains.
Going to reptile stores.
Yes, berries, nuts. It really it's a lot of in that realm. But I've introduced lean meats. So like Jennifer will make me quinoa and salmon, or pork, because I love fish. White fish. I for meals after I'm done with my meal, I'll get a handful of nuts. Throughout the day for lunch, I had a salad and some salmon, and I'll have some berries or a banana, something like that. So it's just a modified version where you introduce the lean meats.
Oh, right on. And I don't. I eat all types of fish. Care. I don't prescribe to just the one race of fish, but that's just me. So,
well, I love
the eater.
I love all. I mean, that's the one thing. You know, not everybody here light in the house likes fish, but I love monkfish, tilapia, perch,
great
trout. You know, I love catfish. A good down here, you get some really good catfish.
Walleye.
Yeah, salmon.
I was I got it at Publix like a month ago, like BOGO, the big like fish like fried, like Gordon's, but like the nicer one, whatever that one is. And I was just in the mood for fish tacos. Hadn't had fish tacos in like 2 years, and I had fish tacos every day for like 7 days. I just ate them every day. And then I'm like, to Jessica, you want one? It's like, no. You know, she's like, oh, that like deep fried, like crappy frozen fish. Like the very last day, I had like a couple pieces left over, and I'm like, come on, you gotta try it. It's like really good. So she took like a little bite of the fish. She's like, this is really good. And I'm like, yeah, you could have been eating fish tacos all week like me, but no. So
it made right too. Like I've had fish tacos where they've used fried fish. Yeah. But the best fish tacos I had ever, it was in California, it was in San Diego, but all over, is when they used blackened fish. Blackened fish and fish tacos is far above the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I mean, gosh, I could probably eat fish for all my meals. I'm not a big, like, you know, Jen's a big steak person. I do like steak from time to time. I prefer pork over steak, a good pork, you know, a chop or something. But I'm more fish and chicken.
I'm more of a turkey. I like turkey more than anything else. Turkey burgers, turkey.
Wait a second.
Jen just made turkey chili.
Yeah.
Turkey is one of the most least versatile meats out there. Like if you get like a split second window and then it's dry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if it's dry. I just like turkey.
Okay.
No, I don't care. Yeah, I don't care about food. I mean, everybody knows that. You know, I mean, I like a good meal, but I give two shits about food. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
like, what I eat.
Well, you are the, you know, king of the turkey dinner and the sandwich review.
Yeah, that's it.
You had like 20 of them, or I think like 12 of them, or something like that.
I had a lot. I had one almost every day for like a week. I love that.
It was a lot.
I know that. I love that.
Anybody eat a fucking sandwich as fast as you were? God Almighty! and the funniest part was, you still told your story, and I'm listening, and I'm like, did you just put that on the floor? Like, did you just like, yeah, this is really good, but no, you ate it.
They're mind boggled at work too, especially like donuts or something someone brings. Like, I'll inhale like 5 or 6 donuts within like a minute or two. Like, I mean, fast. Like, I mean, I can inhale some food, and cause I got better things to do. You know, just shove it down into the calorie making machine down here in my gut. You know, give me some energy, and let's get this shit going. You know, so.
No. Oh, someone's drinking or someone's smoking.
Oh, Lawless with a great smoke, Pat. I didn't know that there was a. I bet she fucking stole them. I didn't see any I didn't see any black label. I bet she stole them before I even had a chance to look. You know, so she got a box. That rep that we met, Kerr, up at your when I was up to see you.
Yeah.
The one kid,
the big ring gauges.
Yeah. He was down at the.
Was he? Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Not Derek. I can't remember his name. Derek Matthews is it Derek Matthews the other owner, or Derek Williams?
I think Derek Matthews is
Derek Matthews. That's right.
So, but yeah, so Jess bought a box just so she can get another poster. I'm like, brilliant. They printed that off for 50 cents. I'm like, oh yeah. Hey, can I have that poster? If you buy a box, deal.
Yeah.
Deal.
And then if you know what, if you wait till the end of the night, we'll have a whole bunch left over. I'll give you another one.
That's it.
Actually, I was just at Boda Pike.
Japanese can't eat fish. What?
What?
Yeah.
I was just at Boda and they released the Boondock Saints. He said it's been since 2019 they released that they had.
Wow, has it been that long?
Yeah, it was fantastic.
So I saw them smoke in. I was on the Brews on the website the other day, and I saw that it was on one of the banners.
Yeah. So Ryan, were you at the Great Smoke?
I was.
Is it your first one, or have you been there before?
1 virtual, 3 live.
Oh, nice.
So this was my 3rd live.
I
figured you were going to show up for the 20th.
You know what, man? It was just all timing. You know, I said the same thing last year, and this year I thought for sure, but just timing. Maybe next year. I'll be the maybe next year guy, because I've done the virtual. Yeah. I've done the virtual a couple of times. Me and Daryl did the virtual a couple of times. We hung in Daryl's place and freaking watched it and hung out and smoked cigars and drank bourbon and had a great old time. But I definitely got to get down for one. Yeah,
next year is Arabian Nights. Yeah.
Maybe next year, because next year PCA's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go to Vegas.
I'm Jessica and I, we aren't going.
So maybe next year's Great Smoke makes sense.
Yeah.
Abe's actually already approached me to be one of the belly dancers. So
oh yeah.
I gotta really get myself into shape this year.
He's giving you a year. He's giving you a year, Ryan.
You figure I've got enough real estate to do some sell some banner ads or something.
Yeah.
Like
that's it.
What?
Yeah.
We're on now.
Kevin did Ryan.
No.
I'm fucking having a conversation the whole time. We're sitting here doing the show, and Jen looks at me. She goes, "It's 7:11. When are you going to start the show?" what do you think I've been doing the whole time here?
Yeah. No,
Why you don't have an audience in your studio? Damn it.
Yeah, Jessica was editing some clips out, and then the one with Smokini, Kim Keeney, and I guess on camera all you saw was Kevin, stop it, but you did, but they were only focused on her face. So luckily Jessica was filming, and then as she's talking, I've got my elephant trunk, just poking at her. So everybody watching live had no idea what was going on. So Abe's elephant. Elephants live to be 125, 150 years old. Abe rents one that's dying. So it couldn't made it down.
Good job, Abe. Oh. Hey, I want to rent an elephant. We got the one that's 126 years old.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. So I told him, I said, I got you, Abe. I got this for you. So I got my inflatable elephant and lasted about an hour. I'm like, I gotta get out of this thing.
Now, Ryan, did you do the Meat Lovers Club dinner and everything?
I've never done any of the Red Meat Lovers. Something's going on weird with my beard tonight. It wants to flare out like this for some reason. It's driving me insane.
Yeah.
It heard that you were to be a belly dancer, and I think that would be the appropriate curl out to be a belly dancer.
There we go.
Yeah.
You keep it like
that's it. People are gonna be chiming in about now and like, hey, what's up with his beard?
So I've never been to a Red Meat Lovers. I've always heard that they're really good. But I'll be upfront, the cost of it's just a lot. I mean, they're not cheap tickets, and I know you're getting great quality food and a lot of it. I'm just cheap.
Yeah, you get a lot of food. I justify it because the Red Meat Lovers Club is a great organization that does a lot for charities. So your money is always going to a good cause. So you're always going to pay probably a little bit more. But yeah, the food is always fantastic.
Food and the cigars, man.
Yeah, right. And we got a couple, like a 3-pack of cigars. Then you had the chance to buy the new spicy beef stick, which I don't know if that was available at TGS or if that was only for the dinner. So it was only for the dinner. So the rest of the world gets it usually, June, July, August. So it gets you a chance to buy a couple of bundles.
Yeah, those I think are coming out for SOS.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So
I think that's
is it open bar?
We're gonna get them. No, it's not open bar.
No, you get some drink tickets like anywhere else. You get like 4 drink tickets. Right. So So yeah, I mean, Jessica used ours, and we, that was it. We
But
didn't.
I mean, let's talk really quick. I didn't mean to interrupt. Let's talk really quick without getting crazy. Let's talk really quick about the open bar aspect. Quite frankly, and again, nothing needs to be brought out for specifics or anything, but like, if you're going to an event like that and you're paying top dollar for an event like that, is open bar really something you're going to abuse? Like, wouldn't you want like a memory of the fucking event?
Was the great smoke open bar? Was it great smoke?
Yeah, well, if you're VIP, it's open bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been to plenty of events at the Red Meat Lovers Club where it has been open bar, and Evan can make it open bar because nobody does abuse it. Like
because everybody wants to enjoy the experience.
Yeah,
of what
like
they paid for.
Yeah, I drove down there for Evan's birthday party, open bar. I had 3 Diet Cokes. That's all I had. Because I knew I had to drive home. I didn't want to be drinking, but even at the Red Meat Lovers Club event, Jessica and I, we each had 2 Bacardi and Diets apiece. That's all we had, and then we had 2 Diet Cokes. So I mean, we didn't. But I mean, I don't like drinking to the point to where I get, I don't even like getting lightheaded at all. At the moment I can feel alcohol inside my body, I stop drinking. Which. I mean, I don't know. It's been forever, so I don't even know what that point is anymore. But I just stop. I just drink Diet Coke or I just drink water. Yeah. I don't like getting that. I don't want to get sloppy, and I don't want to be that guy that people talk about. That guy doesn't know that they're talking about him. And then when they see him next year, it's like, oh God, we got to sit next to him. You remember how he was last year, So. And there are unfortunately quite a few people that are like that, at the Great Smoke, and like I said, I rarely ever see it at the Red Meat Lovers Club.
Yeah, but like I was talking about with Alex, and Alex, like, okay, conservatively, if you live out of state, conservatively, you're almost $1,000 just getting there between tickets, any extras, your flight, that's barely even including hotel. And like for me, you just get ossified. Like, get drunk during the the tailgate, and then ride the buzz for the actual event. And that way you remember it. I don't know. For me, it's just kind of like a waste. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm not trying to be like a drinking prude. I was drunk every single day. Or every single night there, pretty much. Not ossified, but for the event,
you guys sound like prudes, the both of you. I'm just.
But I mean, Kerr, like you're $1,000 into going to an event. You spend $1,000 to go to a concert. You want to get tanked, and that way you the only memories you have are the pictures. Like, I don't know. Maybe
I'll have to get back to you on that one. No, I mean, I'm teasing. I hear what you're saying. I mean, you're spending that much money, and you want to be able to enjoy the time there, right?
It's like going to Disney and staying in your hotel.
And some people think that the more they drink, like, oh, I'm getting my money's worth out of this.
Yes.
I'm going to drink until I throw up, and then I'm going to drink some more because I paid for this, and I'm going to,
Well, yeah,
owed me. Yeah.
So that's open bar. I mean, that's kind of that's actually the definition of open bar is I'm going to drink exactly my body weight because this is open bar and I pay.
Yeah. Yeah. Open bar is never like at an event, like we were like a ticket at an event. They're like, oh, and it's open bar. That's not a perk for me because I'm not going to drink that much, so don't say, oh, hey, your tickets are this much, but that includes an open bar. Well, not for me. So I'll have a couple drinks, but yeah, you make your money back on Kerr. Kerr. It's not.
Yeah, no, you're correct. Even baseball's got to finish the 7th inning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just
right.
That's just me. It's a lot of money for you to not remember.
Yeah.
But and I think they end up doing well though when you have open bar. I mean, because like you said, most folks don't abuse it. They're gonna have probably more than they normally would have if it was cash bar. But the price that you're paying and the cost of alcohol, and usually they usually have like lower rail alcohol with maybe a couple of
there's always you always have those
Well,
couple of bottles that makes it look like
right. Yeah, it's like would you like a scotch? Yeah, would you like to have or do you want the tequila? Do you want Jose Cuervo, which is their top shelf, or would you rather have Don Juan Cooper? In a plastic bottle. When they drop it, it bounces back up.
but I also know it did have the effect that it did have on me. Having a few drinks, I spent more than I expected because I had enough to loosen me up. And I'm like, I can do it. Come on. I can tell you that much. So from that side, it was definitely a positive.
Yeah.
So how was the event overall? Was Boofy there?
It was Boofy, of course.
Yeah.
Somebody gave Boofy this massive lollipop dick. Did you see that, Kevin?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah. So I don't know who it was. It was obviously they knew each other. I mean, literally, the thing was like this. I was standing right next to him. He turned around. He goes, "Here, grab it."
Yeah. Oh my god. And he brought his wife, Kerr. We got to meet Mrs. Boofy.
Nice.
Yes, he did.
And she is an absolute sweetheart. She is so nice. And she offered me some of her popcorn. I'm like, oh my God, Matt Booth's wife's offering me his popcorn. Matt Booth probably had some of his popcorn. Matt touched his wiener. So if I eat this popcorn, it's like me touching Matt's wiener. That's exactly what went through my head the whole time.
Did it? Yeah.
It did.
Light up. Black light up.
That's it. It was the Kevin Bacon thing. The 7 stages to Matt Booth's wiener.
The 6 degrees.
Six degrees of Matt Booth's wiener.
Boothy's
was, So
that's
it was
funny.
all through his wife's popcorn. So she was super.
Was
super
there a hole
sweet.
in the bottom of the popcorn container?
That's it. That's Boothy special. I saw that there was a lot of folks here, and Ryan, I did see recently that you had Michael Knowles on.
Oh,
Mayflower
awesome.
Cigar. Because we met him at PCA last year. Super freaking nice dude, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Now,
oh my God,
I'm curious when he was at this event with the political environment and everything else. Did he get any shit? Were there any comrade Jimmys out there giving him some shit?
Comrade Jimmys.
I'm sure there was nothing that I could really necessarily speak to or not, but I'm sure there was people. But here's the thing. He was such a nice guy. I mean, he recognized me.
Nice
like
guy.
I walked up to him and cried, "Hey, Ryan!" I'm like, "You did not just remember my actual name from like 3 weeks ago." Okay, cool. I gave him a shirt. He held it up. He was a super nice guy. Here's what I would say to anybody that's got I would say to anybody that's got a problem with his politics. Don't smoke cigars. 90% of the manufacturers overwhelmingly agree with stances that he takes. And he wasn't there as Michael Knowles from Michael Knowles Show. He was there as Michael Knowles from Mayflower Cigars. And he actually kept everything political free. Like, well, yeah, even in the interview,
that's the thing is when you see him, yes, he's a celebrity. Yes, he's known for his politics, but you're at a cigar event and you're there for the cigars. So if anybody did decide to open up the political can, shame on them.
For sure.
Like you said, they shouldn't be there.
Correct.
Or know the room. I wouldn't necessarily say don't be there, but just know the room. Like that's not a time and place to bring up politics at an event like that. If that's
I'm going to push back on that though, Kevin. Yeah. I am going to say don't be there because obviously you can't read the room.
Yes.
So you shouldn't be there. Or maybe you had too much at the open bar and then you decide that you're going to get a little bit of freaking, liquid courage to say something that is completely inappropriate because you, first of all, can't read the room. And when you've had too much alcohol, you obviously freaking all common sense, if you've had any very little to begin with, are lowered. So now you are going to say stuff and you're being highly inappropriate in an event that is really a celebration of the Smoke In 20th anniversary and more importantly, cigars.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just
like I said, I wasn't privy to hearing anything for anybody shouted out or said in passing to him, or I didn't hear anything through the grapevine. I will tell you, he was surrounded with 2 security guards that looked like they could have done some damage.
Oh, was he? I only saw him for a brief second.
The 2 guys that were 10 feet away from him the whole time in suits. That was his. That was.
Oh, okay,
I didn't so, man. I mean,
I walked up to him. Well, I asked him. I was like,
never
"So,
fucking know, man. That's
I'm like,
a
are
crazy
you
environment, bro?"
Yeah, I told him, like, so without getting into anything you can't. Have you had anything crazy happen at the event so far? And he's like, no. Everyone's been great. They're like, both of them looked at us like, this is not the type of event we're remotely concerned about.
Yeah. No, I mean, after what happened with Charlie Kirk, man, all those high profile, especially on the conservative side. I mean, you definitely got to beef up your security.
Well, I guarantee you, if Knowles had 2, Shapiro's probably 6.
Shapiro's gotta have, he's
got the guys with the fake arms holding the Tech 9s under the code.
Yeah. Exactly. And then Candace Owens as well, more and more going out there, she's probably got, same with Tucker. Tucker going to jail or what? They arrested him yet, or that's been following that story the last few days. God,
he says the CIA spied on him.
No, the one I don't know, is she a congressman or whoever that lady was? Turn him into the Justice Department for failing to register as a foreign agent or something because he had talks with the Iranian president. He's also pretty close with Qatar. He's got So he's.
Oh yeah, he's afraid that they're gonna come after him. I mean,
I don't think they care. Trump's got bigger stuff to fry.
Oh, but plus, he's been to the White House a number of times. I think he's got. That's not. I don't think that's in.
Speaking of Trump, without getting political, that was really cool. I've never seen Air Force One in person before.
Oh, you haven't?
It was there over the weekend. We drove past it.
Yeah,
it was awesome seeing it. It's not like you get close to it, but I mean, it's a 747 or 7777 or something like that. So it's a huge plane, but that was really cool to be able to see that for the first time.
Yeah, up in Sarasota, they have a whole big area where people actually just spend all day there, and it's a plane watching. It's like a big fence; you can't get anywhere near any plane. But I mean, it's got room for dozens and dozens of cars, and people be out there, and that's where we used to go when before Air Force One came in, because I like seeing the like the big, I don't know, the 130s, the Hercules, whatever, the big planes.
Yeah.
That brings all the limos, and then like the big door comes down, then you start seeing the Beast come out, and like the Tahoes and everything else.
Those are massive. I lived in an apartment complex by Dover Air Force Base, and they used to do touch and goes.
Yeah.
And at noon we'd be hanging out watching TV, and they would come over our apartment complex. It would be that loud you couldn't hear the TV. And then as they started going away, you could hear all the car alarms in the parking lot going off because it would set off all the car alarms. Yeah,
as we drove by, I'd mentioned to Jessica, I go, man, doesn't that just fill you up with pride? Not that was Trump that was there. It was just seeing Air Force One.
It's just seeing
like,
it.
and I think, I don't know who I said we're talking to when we were at the Great Smoke. And I'm like, man, when that plane lands in a foreign nation, one man doesn't get off that plane. 250 million Americans walk down those steps.
Oh yeah,
when that plane lands, and it's just I don't know, it just fills you with pride to see Air Force One. I every time I see it, I just absolutely love it.
And regardless of the president, that shouldn't matter. Like, the president represents us. There's presidents I disagree with. You better believe I disagree with Obama. You better believe if given the opportunity, I'd shake the man's hand and take a picture with him and go, dude, I never, just because I don't agree with you, like, I'm not the type of guy that goes, oh, I never would even talk. No. Do you know what kind of a privilege that is to be one of the rare few people that actually shakes the hand of a president? like in a legitimate way, take a picture. That is an honor, regardless of the side that they're on. It's the office that's the honor.
You know what's funny, Ryan, is that I told the story before. This was years ago. I was up in Philadelphia when the family was with me. I was up there working, and me and the kids and Jennifer get into the elevator, and the guy comes in, and the elevator door closes. And I look at the kids. I go, "Kids," I said, "I'd love to introduce you to the former governor of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell." And they go, and he was super nice, shook the kids' hands, took a picture with them, shook his hand. "Hey, thank you very much for all the service," and he left. And then my daughter looks at me, she goes, "Did you vote for him?" I go, "Oh no, he's a horrible mayor. He was a horrible governor. Horrible." "Really?" I go, "Oh yeah, he was terrible. I mean, 2-term governor, he was terrible." "Well, why were you so nice to him?" I said, "Because he spent his life serving the country. He was a DA of Philly. He was a mayor of Philadelphia. He was a governor. He was the head of the DNC. I said, I may disagree with his politics, but a lot of people voted for him. And I have respect for him and the office that he held. And I said, plus, he's not the governor anymore. What am I going to do? Yell at him?" I said, you just got to be respectful to all people at all times, even if you disagree with them. And they were looking at me like I was fucking crazy. But you guys, Jennifer, he was so super nice, super sweet guy. He's terrible for Pennsylvania, almost everything that he did. But, when you're faced with these folks, I met Jesse Jackson down here. Yeah. I was down here at a restaurant having breakfast, and Jesse Jackson walked in. He saw us looking. He came walking over, and the girl I was with, I was working with her. He gave her a hug. He shook my hand. I go, "Jesse, no hugs for me?" And he reached over and he gave me a hug. And he goes, I said, "No." He gave her a kiss on the cheek. And I said, "What, Jesse? No hugs and kisses?" And he gave me a hug, and he whispered in my ear, "Brother, I was afraid you kissed me back." And he walked away. And I looked at her and I said, if I spent another 10 minutes with that man, I would probably vote for him, and I would probably run his campaign. He's just that charismatic, freaking just has it.
Speaking of Jesse Jackson,
yes, rest in peace, Jesse Jackson.
I was going to say, speaking of Jesse Jackson, we don't have to dig into it, but did you see his son rip apart Obama, Biden, and Kamala for getting political?
Oh, yeah.
Before it even started, he said, "Please keep your politics to yourself." Kamala, Obama, and Biden, I'm pretty sure they all later apologized. And he ripped all three of them wide open at the end. Yeah. How dare you bring your politics to this?
Yeah.
I commend that. Immensely.
Yeah, you got to. But yeah, it's kind of funny. That's why when I asked about Michael Knowles, like I said, Kevin and I spent just a few minutes with him, but a super nice guy, very inviting, very, very personable. He had slippers on. Very comfortable.
Very, very young Hugh Hefner,
very
Hefner-esque.
Like, God dang, dude, you were short and you look very young.
Dude, I can't believe I got 2 hours with him. When I did the confirmation, I was expecting to be like, all right, 45-hour tops. There was nothing contingent on it. And even when Knowles popped out, I'm like, we're good for the full 2 hours? He goes, yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Oh my gosh, yes.
That's great, man.
We'll definitely have to try and have him on. We'll definitely get his contact information.
Super nice guy,
and because yes, I really don't care about the politics or anything else. Just his history, his lineage fascinates me.
Absolutely.
That's where just being someone that can go back. Like I said, I was taking a picture last night. Of my family tree book. Someone that can trace my lineage to 1678, and he goes back another 70 years.
Mayflower.
Before that, 1600. Like early 1600s.
Was it Mayflower 1619? No,
yeah, it was
a 1619 project. I'm thinking of.
It's right around the early 1600 to 16. When did the Mayflower Kerr? Our guru here. I think it was like 1600 to 1610 or so.
Speaking of that, did you hear that where he bought his first cigar from?
No.
Our friend Paulie over at La Casa Grande.
Oh yeah.
Very first cigar he
1620.
ever bought.
What's
he
that?
even said it on the
November
1620.
November 21st, 1620. It landed at Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, no, Noel said on the stage and even said on my show, the very first cigar he actually bought was at La Casa Grande in New York.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk to Paulie when there at the show. You know, I don't know what you know, I know he's trying to make the rounds, so I don't know what his I really don't know a lot about him or his company. I know he's making cigars for people, but I know it's got to be it's still a small factory. I don't know if he's there's a lot of questions with Paulie, you know, that I'm inquisitive of, you know. So
well, he can't really take it on at the New York, so he has to get a facility, a manufacturer to help him with the big releases. Like it was Epic that helped him with Bronx Tale, and then it was Sanj Patel that helped him with Prodigal Son.
Yeah, and then I think Sanj works with a couple of factories now.
Sanj's son has a factory, from what I understand.
Yeah, and then I know
made Prodigal Son.
Yeah, and then I know Sanj has worked with Art Garcia, Segovia de Esteli.
That's a great cigar. That's silver, right?
Yeah, that silver or black? I think it was silver. I think you're right.
Silver, yeah, that was a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah. So Art's a really good guy, really good blender.
It's funny when you talk about, we're talking about celebrities and their involvement in the cigar business and the truly legitimate and really into it. I want to interview Conor McGregor because he's an interesting dude to begin with. And, but I smoked his cigar, Notorious, and I've had his proper 12.
You had a cigar.
Neither did I.
I've had the proper 12.
Proper 12 was really good.
For an Irish whiskey, it's not bad. I'm not a biggest fan of Irish whiskey, but it's not bad.
It depends. I've had had Irish whiskey called Writer's Tears, which was freaking out of this world. Awesome. Proper 12 was pretty freaking solid.
It was a solid whiskey for sure.
Yeah.
I prefer the Bacardi of Irish whiskey, and that is Jameson.
Bacardi?
The Bacardi of Irish whiskey is Jameson.
Yeah, well, Jameson's not bad, but but his cigar Notorious. I was at Boda and I was talking to Rex, and he's like, they really want me to bring it in, but it's kind of expensive. And I smoked it, it was okay. I smoked it. It's pretty fucking good.
Who makes it?
Gosh, I have to see. Is it a DR? I was looking it up.
Yeah, you sent me when you told me that the other day, Kerr. I went to the website and then I got busy and I never looked to see if they said who.
Oh, it's a brand.
Yeah,
it's not a single release cigar. It says by Notorious. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to do kind of what Plum did with oh my gosh, what's the name of that? Kelsey Plum. Who'd she do the cigar with?
That was just last year.
I can't think of it. I thought that's what he was going to do. Yeah. I didn't realize he was going to start a brand. I have a lot more respect for that.
And it's really good. It's the MJ Frias factory in the Dominican Republic.
Interesting. Dude, it's not that expensive. It's $149 for a box of 10.
It's $15 a cigar.
That's not bad.
I told Kevin this, especially with the pricing now, but I told Kevin when I smoked it, I thought solid cigar. And it's one of those cigars you're like, if I'm looking at this going, it's probably a $12 cigar, but I pay $15. It's still in the same ballpark at that point, right? You're just you're not smoking a $15 cigar and thinking, man, this should have been freaking under $10. This should have been an $8 cigar. It had really good flavor to pre-draw, but was really nice midway through. For Dominican, midway through, it really picked up on the spice. It had that Dominican flowery, a little bit more of that sweet flavor to it, but midway through, it really picked up on the spice. And I smoked it to the nub. I thought it was a fantastic freaking cigar. So I would love to have him on the show and interview him to find out his background, but more importantly is his involvement and love of the cigars and the Irish whiskey, because to me, both of them reasonably priced and both very good products within their given space.
Well, Half Wheel wasn't a fan of it, but I don't smoke my cigars based on Half Wheel.
What they rank it, or would they
85? 85. That's pretty low.
That's
but
pretty,
again, no. Again, this is what I tell people about reviews. Who cares?
Don't shit on my review with a reference to Half Wheel. You guys,
I'm specifically bringing that in there because my palate does not reflect well with Charlie's. My palate, there are reviewers my palate reflects well with, but Charlie's is not one of them. So I would try that based on the fact that I've smoked every one of the Stogie Road releases and I've really liked it. If you're saying you like it, I'm going to trust you on it. And $15 is worth the gamble, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's Patrick. This one, yeah. I mean, listen, I smoked one. It was really, really good. I don't know. They smoked quite a few. That's again, and when it comes to cigars, I think everybody understands that it's going to be a subjective,
totally
subject to a palate, but
like
based off of some of the cigars that I smoked that were connected with to celebrities and stuff, this is pretty freaking good.
Yeah, if I see a Half Wheel article that's like an 81, an 85 is not all that bad. That's still an 8.5.
He's a really tough reviewer.
Yeah, like if it's like an 80, 81, 82, even an 85, like if I'm at a lounge and I remember that review and that number and I'm somewhere, I would lean away from that cigar. Because I like Charlie's profile or palette. I like Brooks. I think their reviews are very calculated and methodical. So usually it's ended up being a construction issue. If because I read a lot of Half Wheel reviews, and a lot of times it's construction issues that just make it absolute plummet. And that's what I don't want.
Here you can tell just looking at the picture that there was it did canoe a bit.
Issue. Yeah.
And they smoked 3 of them, so there's 3. So, then sometimes it'll be like,
try it. I think it would be great to have somebody like Connor on. Talk about like kind of a boofy experience of not of really not knowing where that conversation's going to go.
No, you'd have no idea. You would need subtitles. We would have to see if StreamYard would do subtitles.
Yeah, I'd have to have a friend of mine on. She's been over here for a few years now, so she's got a pretty good American. She can speak, so she can. Kira can translate for us. Like Kira, what did he say?
But I would recommend giving it a try. And again, with his proper 12.
I would give it. I would definitely give it a try only because I know like when he was, I watched the like a little it was like a 10-minute thing on the proper 12. Like he just didn't put his name like that. I mean, he was really into that. So I figured with the cigar, he's probably going to be the same thing. Like he's like Guy Fieri, he's not going to put his name on something.
Well, that's why I thought it was going to be more of a Kingmakers thing where it was like he is a line made by another manufacturer, but it's actually a brand he started. That gives me a lot more faith in the cigar to begin with. Yeah.
That's like Michael Knowles and Mayflower Cigars, man. Like that is a cigar smoking celebrity that started, and I loved it when he was, I think I'd mentioned it before, but when he was in that round table and it was like Michael Knowles, like one conservative versus 25,
the Jubilee round table.
Yeah. I'm watching a good one now at Jillian Michaels and, it's good. But yeah, when they introduce it, when he introduced himself, what's that?
You made a noise. Do you not like her?
No. It was, One Fitness, Jillian Michaels, obviously from she's fitness guru, and she had the show My Big Fat Loser or something, or like weight.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Biggest loser.
And she's up against like 25 body positivity people, and like her first claim was you can't be overweight and healthy.
Yeah.
And then the like the first person goes, well, I'm not going to use the O word because that's discriminatory. Obese, you know, like, oh, and here we go. If we're not even going to call it like it is, you know, so
I can't imagine. She's a bear, man.
Yeah, but when Michael Knowles introduced himself as, you know, podcast, blah blah blah, cigar maker, and I'm like, oh my god, I fucking love that he introduced himself as a cigar maker. You know, that was just, I loved it.
Well, that was the pinnacle, he said, of kind of everything he was able to do. It brought everything kind of full circle with him, you know, because he still has the original box with some of the cigars that his mom bought him before she died when he was 15.
Oh, yeah. I've heard him tell that story. Yeah.
But I just got to say, dude, talk about celebrity corner over there at TGS, right? I think Guy was there for 1 hour, hour and a half, maybe, until they totally sold out. But that was Guy and Knowles literally right there in that same corner. It was 60 people deep the entire time. Both were there. And Knowles, bless his heart, stayed till 5.
Yeah. You know, we never made it back around there to see him. You know, he was up on stage and then he disappeared for a little bit. So I just wanted to say hi and ask him if he was, you know, because his people are going to be doing scheduling the interviews at PCA. You know, last year when we saw him, it was his first year. He was just like, you know, he was all excited. Well, somebody wants to talk to me, get in here, you know? And, you know, that's the way it was. Now it's like everybody wants to schedule an interview. So if we don't get one scheduled, we probably won't.
You're gonna go up and say, hey, do you remember me? You picked me out of out of a crowd to just come up and take the first picture.
Oh, that was Guy Fieri. Yeah. So, it was, I muscled my way up through there in my elephant costume, never even said hello to Guy or Eric. I just got to the front of the line, turned around, and then Jessica took our pictures. Like Guy and Eric just kind of like either side of me. And I'm like, and then I just scooted off. Never said hi. Forgot to say hello, you know? So
I gotta say,
that's great.
Kevin, why does Steve bring that much or too little that he just sells out that fast? Like, God, he is the first every year I've been there. Steve's got his legs up 45 minutes into general admission. The tables go. They had 100 of the Colibris. Yeah, I think they sold through like 60 or 70, and Dave had to hold back like 30 or so just for GA. Those were gone in 30 minutes of GA coming in. He was done. He was done within the first hour and a half, I think, of GA entirely, and he was the only one that sold out that quick.
You know, people just, you know, I think there's a couple of reasons. People go up, and then some people just feel guilty about, you know, just going up to there and just start talking to them. But you don't feel as guilty when you got a box of cigars in your hand. Like, hey, I just bought these. You owe me 5 minutes, fat man. So let's talk about whatever I want to talk about. You know, I think that's a little bit of it. People just want to, you know, people want to talk to him, but he just draws that in though. Yeah, you know, that's just Steve.
That's nice.
You know, but it was you know, I made it in my post, I think last night or 2 nights ago. You know, it's just, you know, after the Great Smoke, you know, Chris Monaco stopped by, him and his wife Kerr. Stopped by there, and Jeffrey was there with his dad for a little bit. Jeffrey said he just chatted with you the other night.
Yeah.
So
Jeff was there for a couple nights.
Yeah, we were all just hanging out there, and then you know, just nice. You know, the crowd was thinning a little bit, and then I think Steve came up because, you know, Stephanie was there looking like a proper woman. Not that, you know, so I think that was what drew him over. But he just you know, he just kept dragging his chair from table to table.
Yes,
he would drag it up. He'd sit down and open up his bag, light up a cigar, and then after like 30-40 minutes or so, and he's like, all right, you know, got up, drug his chair to the next table, and just started started chatting.
He said it was easier to drag the chairs than to find a chair.
Yeah, exactly. We started talking a little bit about politics right at the end of that conversation, and he goes, "Well,
yes."
as someone that sells to both conservative and liberals, I'm going to find another table." So
yeah. Well, like Ryan says, is it just that he's draws a crowd and that popular? Does he bring, too little when he sells out? And I just envision him with a notebook, like doing math to bring the freaking with the amount of people coming in, how many people are going to buy, how many people are going to, how much time is going to be spending, and going, okay, we have to bring X amount of boxes, and when we bring X amount of boxes, that means we're going to sell out in this amount of time. It's just I picture him like having this perfect calculation of the number of boxes, and just not saying, hey, I'm just going to bring as much as we can, or saying, well, I can only bring this much. It's like this. I just envision this ridiculous calculation that is just so perfect that when it sells out, he just looks at David and goes, Chet, I was 5 minutes early on my guesstimate. My numbers.
Yeah. I'll have to crunch those numbers again later. See where I went wrong.
See where I could have squeezed another box or two.
Let me ask you this, Kev, because you have a longer history at smoking than I do, and even with Steve. Heritage brands don't do what they do at TGS to the level that Steve does. Like, I've gone to some of these buying events that, like, the bigger the legacy brands, the heritage brands, whatever you want to call them, they seem to be doing like really, really well. Every time I see Steve, he's the first person fucking sold out at every event I've ever been to where he's there. And I know it's not him bringing not enough. He brings a shit ton. I think nobody does the promotion the way he does. And it's also I just don't care what you think. Buy it or don't. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your opinion?
Yeah. You don't want to buy that box? Guess what? That guy behind you does.
Exactly.
Now he gets 2 boxes. People just love Steve. They just,
especially smoking.
Yeah. He's a cigar celebrity, so people, it's like, we don't get to, I don't get to sit down ever or meet any of the Bacardi family. Pete Johnson does. His kids go to school with the Bacardi kids, but yet still, I don't have a sign, Pete Johnson, from Bacardi. We're just gonna leave that there. But yeah, I mean, whether it's shoes or whether it's, I'm not privy to the Diet Coke family. But yeah, and yet in the cigar world, we get that intimacy with people that we consider celebrities, and nobody is doing it like Steve Saka right now. You know that you can tag him in a post, and there's a pretty good chance he's going to respond or answer your question.
Yeah.
Or go to an event. You'll get to have a few minutes with them, and Matt Booth does a great job. Matt Booth's not behind the booth at all. He's always out in roaming the crowd. And Pete Johnson does the same thing. Pete's never behind the counter. Pete's always, outside the booth.
Missed him this year.
Yeah, I know. It kind of sucked. But yeah, people just want to, they just want to be around Steve, because he tells great stories. He tells it like it is. And he makes great cigars. That's the perk of it. He makes fantastic cigars. So it's easy, to want to buy some and hang out in line and meet him. And, his whole crew, Cindy was there, his wife, and Edka, the Florida rep, and
Dave Lafferty,
the national sales manager, and
Miss Duque.
Chris Duque wasn't there, but Steve just draws a crowd because he just doesn't give a fuck, and I think people like that. People appreciate that he's not trying to, suck up to them, oh, hey, you like that? I like that too. It's, he's like, nah, that's dumb.
Yes,
dumb.
I love that.
So,
but no, right in the VIP, he was the first place that had a line. He had 20 people deep the second the door opened.
Yeah, I've seen people line up behind the bathroom just because he went in, because they thought that seriously, like, oh, is that where he's doing interviews, or that's where he's doing a meet and greet? So they started forming a line like he's taking a piss. You know?
Kevin knows this because he started the line.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, no, he's just peeing, folks. You know, just give him a minute, he'll be out. You know, so, but yeah, people just love Saka.
Everybody seemed to have done really well, though. Black Label, I'm pretty sure, sold out. I know Steve sold out. Espinosa, I think, sold all but 1 or 2 boxes. Paulie did really, really well as well. Boofy, I think, sold everything. My father sold most of it. West Tampa sold most, if not all of it.
West Tampa had nothing at the event.
Devil Crab went like that.
You know, because that was the after party. You know, or the at there, and like I got there and I look at the table and Ricky's like, I hardly have anything left, so we bought some devil crabs.
Did you smoke that finally?
No, not yet.
You haven't smoked the devil crab yet?
I'd never smoked one before, so I
really?
picked up I picked up a few.
They're delicious.
While we were there, I picked up like a 5-pack of various cigars and a couple of devil crabs. So
yeah,
and then the night before, 20 count.
Yeah, and
then
then
a couple of places around here finally carrying them.
Yeah, and then the night before was
Foundation,
and he was, by the time I got there after the dinner, he was running really low, and I'm like, I wanted to pick up a box, and I'm like, oh, what do you got left? And he had I think it was the Wise Man Maduro, but the double Corona. And I'm like, oh, I'll take that box. And he goes, that's the last box we have. Like, that's like, they don't have any in inventory, none in the warehouse.
Wasn't that the original Wise Men blend, though, that you picked up, I thought?
I can't remember now.
I thought you told me you jumped on it because that was the original blend that they found here at Smokin' and put it on the table.
I can't rember.
I thought that's what you had told me.
Yeah, it may have been it. I don't know. It was
because they had some of the Matepas there.
Yeah.
That they Nick didn't bring them. Abe had them in the shop, I guess.
Yeah. But that was, I smoked 2 already, and man, what a great, you know. And I like a double because I'm a fast smoker anyway. So I mean, I prefer a double Corona over 7 by
nice and
60. You know, anything else.
Well, dude, the 1810 was a great release for him too.
Yeah.
That was. Did you pick? You got a couple of those, I'm sure.
No, I didn't get any of those, and I never got his 10th anniversary either. So
they were out of these by the time you bought your box.
Yeah. No, they didn't have any.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I bought what I did then.
Yeah, they didn't have any, and but yeah. So I was hoping to at least have some 10th anniversary in stock. So I was going to pick up a couple, if not a box of them. So, because everybody's just raving about his 10th anniversary. So, but yeah, no.
Yeah, I got to ask him Maduro.
Yeah. So super cool. I know. I just got a confirmation that our 10th anniversary cigar landed in Miami at 5:45 tonight.
Nice.
So can't wait to get you guys some of those and get your
looking forward to it.
Get your thought on those. It's like, we always say that, when it's one of our cigars, I'm like, I may be prejudiced, but I think it's a damn good. This might be. I only got to smoke, about 10, but it's some of the best cigars I've smoked all year. Was what made for us. And
I'm tell us who made them.
Yeah, I can tell you because I'm on Coop show next Tuesday night.
Save it.
Yeah, so
Thursday. He's Thursday nights.
No, I think we're doing next Tuesday.
Oh, okay. He's normally after my show.
Yeah, so it's Cavalier. So
nice.
Oh,
yeah, so yeah,
dude.
So but yeah, it's
that's gonna be a great cigar.
It's insane how good it is. I mean, I'm just I don't want to sell them. I don't. I just want to keep all of them.
Wow.
And be like, fuck it. I'm hoping it goes over well. So this will be an ongoing release, not just the 10th anniversary.
Nice.
That's how much I love that cigar.
I know the cigar bands are pretty tight.
Yeah, super cool.
Would you ever go nationwide with any of your releases, Kev? If Cavalier said, "Let me take it nationwide for you."
Yeah, I've had talk in the past of manufacturers wanting to work with me, and then and then doing a nationwide release. And then I just one thing. I mean, they get so busy, and then I get busy, and I never follow up. But yeah, if someone else wanted to do it and then take it as a nationwide release, we've got one that we may end up doing a nationwide release on a cigar later this year or next year. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I have no problem with it. I just don't want to do the legwork. That's with the full-time job, and then having to, if another manufacturer said, hey, we'll do the boxes, we'll put it in our distribution channel, and you'll get 50 cents, that's 50 cent cigar, 50 cents a cigar, and I'm like, I'll take it. So
it's unless you are committed to it full time. I mean, like what I was doing and I've done is you have to almost pull it back and say, okay, I'm just going to be a local brand, because I can make it to the local shops. I can do events at the local shops. I can make appearances at the local shops. I can't expand out more than that because, like you said, you got a full-time job, and you just can't hit the road and say, hey, Jessica, come on, let's go visit the Northeast, for the next month.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to do that to be relevant, to just keep things going, especially, being a smaller boutique, no matter what your name is or how popular you are, it's just, you have to be present at all often. And that's what having sales reps and folks, that's what having them there for is that helps the sale, but more importantly is the resale. You'll get a shit ton of first orders.
Yeah.
It's getting the second orders and the third orders because, the newness wears off, and the reordering part, if you're not there, hey, can you do an event? What, in Boise, Idaho? No, I got to freaking get up and work tomorrow and eat 5 freaking donuts and freak out my coworkers.
Yeah, and Kerr, like we've interviewed them, Ryan, you've interviewed those same people, the ones that, kudos to them. They jump right into it. Like they quit their jobs and they're like, we're going to be, and then some of them do absolutely great. What is the, that brand in the Northeast, oh shit.
Apostate?
No, Apostate's I left.
Northeast. Okay.
What is it? What is it? It's one of Jessica's favorite companies. God damn it. I'll never remember it. I don't even remember their cigars. And oh well. But they let Kerr, we interviewed them, so just take my word for it. But they left their jobs and jumped right in. And
no, go ahead, keep going.
I think they had like the ship themes in their PCA. One year they had like a wagon train. That does not help anybody.
You're killing me. I'm thinking Chuck Wagon and the Mayflower now. So you're not helping.
Are you talking about the guy that had 13 different tobaccos in his cigar?
Yeah, no, not that guy.
Well, hey, you look at someone like Omar. Like he started in the DC, the Virginia area. When I first smoked his cigars, it was up in Virginia at Old Virginia Tobacco Company, and Curtis Draper and a couple other spots up there. And that's where his brand started, was just being kind of that local, hey, here's our local NASA, Fertillo cigar. And, after you,
724. 724.
Yeah, 724. I'm gonna check out Coop's big list, because now it's going to.
I think that's who you're talking about, isn't it?
No. Kurt Kendall. No, I'm not talking about Kurt.
No. But that's, thinking back, what was it now? 10 years ago, 10 years ago, when I met Omar and was smoking cigars, it was really going into the Old Virginia Tobacco Company. If you've ever been to one of those companies, cigar shops are massive, they're huge, and seeing his cigars there, and had local brand, local owner, blah 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 blah, and he obviously jumped in, head first and has done quite well.
I will say I took my hand. One of the reasons why Juan, Kevin, and I got close is I was a fanboy of theirs very early on. Loved Protocol cigars, still love Protocol cigars, and I love Protocol cigars being brought into the smoking family. Like, it's fantastic. Well, I'll tell you, man, I tried. This is a guy I got 25 years of enterprise sales experience. Cigar sales was one of the fucking hardest versions of sales I've ever had to do. Like fighting for that space. Kerr, I don't know how you did it. Fighting for that space, man, it's cutthroat. It's tooth and nail. It's call me in 6 months, call me in 3 months. Maybe if I get my tax return, maybe if I do this, if this other brand falls out. It's always the wait game to get into a lounge. It's never sure. Let's bring you in today. You know, like it's there's no trajectory to it. There's no, I should say. There's no underlining scope that you can base a sale on to get into a cigar lounge. Like in enterprise world, I can almost kind of map out how the conversation is going to go, but it's very much different in the cigar world. And that was the hardest part of doing that. It was just, and I know the owners of the lounges I was trying to get in, and they were still telling me no. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I know you. You're like a friend of mine. Sorry, dude. Like, it's different.
Yeah. I had a 30-minute conversation at work today. I was on a break with a cigar maker that had wanted an in with a smoke in and a Corona, and like, hey, you're in with them, you know? And I'm like, yeah, not happening. Like, let me just stop you right there. Not happening. Abe, you know how he gets in? Word of mouth. Or, you know, I mean, for how many years did people were saying about, you know, Black Label, James Brown, you know, before Abe, you know, finally pulled the trigger. And now, you know, I guess now it's doing good. You know, it can take years of people asking for a brand. And Jeff at Corona, you know, if you live near a Corona cigar, you're almost a lock to get in, you know, because, you know, he's expecting you to be there like on a random Tuesday night doing a cut and light, not a scheduled thing, but you show up at the lounge, do a cut and light, sell your cigars, you know, so it's a little easier on that platform if you live near a Corona, you know. But I was thinking of Stolen Throne.
Stolen Throne. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Good.
Those guys just
the Preakness was awesome.
Went all in. And I don't care. I'm not disrespecting the company at all. They had a good deal of luck. You know, they got in at a right time. They got in at a couple of good lounges that had a fucking great following. And
dude, sometimes luck is the best thing on your side.
That's it. Man. And they made incredible cigars. You know, so it wasn't just, you know, timing that was part of it. They got in and they had a fantastic cigar and it exploded.
Yeah, good product. And back to what you're saying, Ryan, the one thing that I think, Kevin, when you're talking about with your, you know, you having a brand, you know, what was, I think, helpful for me is, and I think some, you know, not saying I have this freaking blueprint or roadmap or anything, it's just in my opinion, is that when you're on, you know, social media, and you have a presence in social media, you have a following in social media, and you're known for having, for being honest, being direct, you know, smoking, giving good recommendations when it comes to cigars. You know, I was traveling a lot for work my first couple of years. So when I was traveling for work, I would go to cigar shops all the time. That's how the Viajante, you know, came about. And I traveled all the Northeast, you know, up the Mid-Atlantic. So I got to know a lot of people in a lot of lounges, a lot of owners smoking cigars. And what I would do is when I would go up to the Northeast, I would smoke cigars and I would bring samples down to here to South Carolina where for cigars that you couldn't find anywhere down here. And that's when I would get like Duncan. He was at, you know, at the cigar lounge there in Greenville, in Greer, and he would smoke them and he would bring them in. And then I would take cigars from boutique companies that I knew and from that Duncan and I got to meet over the years on our show. And I would take them to the Northeast and introduce them to the cigar brand owners up there. So I had established a trust that not only was I a good customer, I'd come in, hang out, they got to know me, but I'm pulling into cigar lounges up north and saying, hey, here's an El Galan. Hey, here's a this, here's a that. And they would smoke them, they would bring them in, would do well in their shop. So they trusted me. And then I brought Blackwork Studio. I brought down the Protocol. I brought down, gosh, I can't remember what others. There's about a half a dozen cigars that were in the Northeast before they were down south. And I'd bring them to Duncan, and he would bring them in his shop. at the store, and they were a big shop. They moved a lot. So when I decided to move forward with starting my own brand, I had a good relationship established where, a lot of these shops would wanted to bring me in because they knew that I just wouldn't sell a freaking, throwaway stogie with a freaking cigar band on it.
That's it. You know who you are? Imagine George Costanza saying, "You know who you are? You're Marco Polo."
I'm Marco.
Yeah, but you're Batman. Yeah, I am Marco Polo.
But what happens is you still reach a peak and you plateau, and no matter how much these guys, and then what happened is through work, I got promoted and I started working from home, so I'm not on the road anymore. So you can't go. I mean, if I was out on the road and I had my brand, I think it'd be a different story today. But you're at home and you're working from home, so you got to be from a computer, getting on conference calls and shit. But no matter how well they know you, if they don't see you, they'll forget about you. And second and third order is even tougher. So Kevin, I think with what you've established over the years with your brand, Cigar Prop, but more importantly, who you are, what you bring to the table. They know you're no nonsense. You're no bullshit. You freaking support great cigars. They're going to trust you. So the ability to bring in a Cigar Prop cigar for a lot of shops would be a no-brainer. Yeah. Again, first order,
I would agree.
Order.
I would agree.
Second order, this is if you do it on your own. Second, third orders going to be tough because you're going to have to put the knee brace on. You're going to have to say goodbye to Tires Plus, and you're going to have to freaking hit the road. But if you do have a brand that has sales reps that are pushing it, I think it would do well.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, I'll see what it's. I'll see how this one does, and but yeah, I see you get the guys like Stolen Throne. Those guys, jumped right in and they never looked back. And there's a couple other brands I won't mention their names. We'll see them at PCA.
Ricky jumped in. Ricky jumped in.
Yeah, Ricky Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean that's how he jumped in.
But 40 years.
Okay, yeah. but look at it like this though.
When he came out of the womb,
I've had this discussion with Ricky. Ricky's had to fight his way into shops. Being Ricky Rodriguez, he'll tell you he dove into this. Like he left a cushy job to dive whole hog into this.
The one thing about I'll finish my other thought. There's going to be a couple of brands that'll be at PCA this year that they dove right in, spent 2 years, and both brand each one has two owners, and they both had to go back to work. So it's not always
it's tough.
Jumping right in. It's tough.
You got to have a lot of disposable income and savings or another source of income, or you got to be independently wealthy or have a family with money.
A lot of these guys have backers. They just who is Michael Herklotz has a business partner. Ricky Rodriguez has a business partner. I was talking with Ricky and I was asking him how the brand was going. I'm like, hey, I'm glad to see you, in a Smoke Inn. I knew several retailers were just waiting to see how West Tampa would go. Jeff was the first one. Jeff and Ricky have had a good relationship for years. Obviously being Tampa,
hey, Crotus' home cigar shop.
Let's bring in West Tampa. And Ricky had said, at the beginning, it was people would call it like, hey, let's get that Ricky Rodriguez cigar in. I'm like, hey, I know Ricky, let's get Ricky in. And he goes, they don't say that anymore. He goes, people are asking, hey, can I get West Tampa in? Can I get West Tampa? And there are people now that don't know that Ricky Rodriguez, they don't know who Ricky Rodriguez is. It's like Tim Ozinger. People don't know that he's part of the CAO. He's now Tim Ozinger Family Cigars. Same thing with Ricky Rodriguez, CAO, what? No, or and then Ricky was Ricky, he did a lot of brands, but now it's West Tampa. Tampa. That's all Ricky's known as, not us nerds know him.
But when you hear he's talking about with Abe told him in the beginning, because he reached out to Abe. Abe's like, you're not ready to come in yet. You just started. To say that to a guy like Ricky, Yeah. And then 2 years ago, the only cigar brand that Abe, I'm pretty sure Abe even said this on my show, and KMA, that he even picked up at PCA was West Tampa. That was it. It was the only cigar brand he brought in that year from the PCA show.
Yeah, last year was Raíces Cubana and I forget the other. I think he did two last year. But obviously Raíces Cubana was a no-brainer. They're like Aganorsa. They've been making cigars for everyone else for so long, and they're bangers. So when they make their own cigar and it's another banger, it's a no-brainer to bring them in. I can't remember who the other one.
But do you ever think when you said they have, you got to have a big backer? I mean, obviously you have to be really close, but how would you approach somebody like, listen, here's the deal, Kev. I want to start a cigar company. I'm really passionate about this. I know about this. It's got a great name, got a great thing. And I'd love you to be a backer. I'd love you to be a part of this. I'm going to need about $1 million. Okay, great. So this is a good cigars. I see them all the time. What is it? Turnaround time, start making money. What, like 3 years? No.
No, never.
4 years? No. 5 years? No. So what's this $1 million get me? Probably a couple boxes a year of cigars. You'd be associated with it. So when do we start becoming profitable? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 10 years. Because we take our profits and then
that's a hard sell.
We take our profits. What do you do with the profits? Well, then we buy more cigars because we're growing. Okay, great. So you double your cigar sales. Yeah. So you double the income. Yeah. You double your profits. Yeah. What do you do? I buy more cigars.
I was talking
more.
Yeah, I was talking with Saka, and he has mentioned he did way back in the day, so it's not like I'm revealing any information, but he was like 5 or 6 years in, and drawing a salary of like 75 grand a year, 80 grand a year. Like that was his salary, for Dunbarton. Like that was, that was like profit, so I mean, it's, and that's done. I mean, still 5 years in producing, 800,000 cigars a year.
I was going to say, you probably had 1 million cigars or close to it if you're pulling 75,000 a year.
But Steve also took his Drew Estate earnings and dumped it in the Dunbar.
Oh yeah.
He was CEO of Drew Estate when they sold.
Yeah. He has said, and he's told me probably like when they had to buy him out,
totally.
when he decided to leave because he owned part of the company.
I think he had a better deal than Drew did personally.
Yeah, so that Swisher deal couldn't go through until they bought him.
Correct.
Before they bought him out. So
the way I understand it, Drew gave him the world to run Drew Estate. Jamie gave him the world.
And Steve still says that he created the Liga Privada when we know it was Nick Melillo.
I think he created the concept.
I'm busting. I always bust Steve's ass. It was definitely a joint.
But it is true though that without Steve, Drew was strictly infused only. Correct.
It was the Fabian always said it was the Wacky Tobacco Company. Is what everything.
But it was more than acid, though. Wasn't tobacco there too? At that time,
I don't know tobacco, but it was. But everything they had was non-traditional. So I remember Fabian said, when he would go in, hey, we have this new cigar, the Liga Privada. He always said, aren't you guys the Wacky Tobacco Company? What are you doing with a regular cigar?
That's hilarious.
I think it says a lot when you have somebody like Abe. And I know Abe, in my opinion, I think Abe sizes himself down to keep his own ego in check a little bit. I think Abe is bigger than Abe professes he is. Yeah. And I can only say, as far as online retailers, I think Abe's probably within the top 10. Would you agree?
Oh, on online retailers?
I would say top 10 to top 6.
I would say top 3.
Okay, so
3 or 4.
Okay, see, I was thinking JR, Cigar, JR, CI, and Famous, and then right below that,
I don't.
Yeah, so bigger than Famous, don't you?
Do you? I don't know.
I put Abe in a different, so. I said so. My top 3 would be, like no specific order. You got 2 guys: Dave Garofalo, Jeff Borshwitz, and Smoke Inn. Like who? Well, no, I'm going to throw Cigars Daily in there as well. Tim Swanson. But as in, like a special, like an online retailer that has a very large presence, but also has a good social media presence. I don't know if I don't know if anybody's bigger than CI. You know, honestly, there's nobody. CI is the largest.
Huge. They're the
is the
Walmart.
biggest. Is the biggest that it comes. You know, people are shopping there for deals. That's what they're. That's what they're shopping.
Roll
there
into one
for.
of their stores, and that's their.
Yeah,
I think Abe is the best
store.
online retailer with the. If you're going to rate social media as the predominant experience within the online retailer, I think Abe's number one in that one.
Yeah, you know, without a doubt, I would say Jeff Borschwitz at Corona Cigars probably bigger than Abe, only because Jeff is just. He's crazy fucking rich. I mean, that's just, you know, it's almost obscene, you know, but and then I think Abe, you know, definitely I think is a second. Dave at Two Guys is definitely the third in that, you know, Tim Swanson Cigars Daily, definitely a fourth. And then you've got like BNB, and you got a few others that round it.
So you think online Abe's bigger than Atlantic or Famous or JR?
No, I don't know about JR. You know, online JR is a pretty behemoth right there. You know, so.
If we were to count per stick movement, I would put Abe per stick movement in the top probably 6 to 8.
Yeah, you know, when you were talking about per stick, yeah, I
definitely top 10. Definitely top 10.
Yeah. No, but if you break it down to, let's just say Dunbarton, number one, there's nobody moving more Dunbarton.
Not anymore. Not since the last 2 SOSs.
Yeah. Cigar Page. Sure. Yeah, you know, Cigar Page, definitely look them up.
That's CI though. That's CI.
Yeah. No, it's not CI. It's the old owner of CI.
It's the old owner. But I heard that CI was more or less
I think there's gonna be, you know, I think he's looking for another buyout. And then
let me ask you guys this. if Amazon ever legally was allowed to sell cigars, do you think they would be able to successfully pull it off?
Yes.
To what level? Are we talking about industry crushing potential?
Yes, because it would be a race to the bottom, because I see it on Amazon now. You know, people are happy making $1. You know, people are happy making 50 cents. You know, I've looked at some products that I use on a daily basis, you know, like in the cigar world, you know, be a lighter, cut, or anything else. I'm like, hey, you know, maybe I'll open up a wholesale account, you know, add that to my Amazon store, and then I'll go on Amazon and see who else is selling it. And then I'll be like, what? How you're happy making 50 cents? I'm like, so I know what wholesale is,
right? Yeah,
you know, it is volume, but I don't care. You know, I'm not doing volume to make 50 cents. I don't care how many.
You're saying everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all about volume. It's like, listen, you know, if I may only make $1 cigar, but if I sell freaking 10 million cigars.
Oh yeah, you know, but I think that's what you'd see on Amazon. You would see, you know, you would see people. You'd see people opening up accounts on Amazon and getting wholesale accounts of these manufacturers, and then just selling on Amazon, and then it'd just be rock bottom basement pricing.
Unless you're someone like Steve that has map pricing. Which, by the way, I just got to say, that's why I went crazy at Steve's booth, because it's the only time all year I think Steve actually allows a 20% discount, because Steve's lowest map pricing nationwide is 15%. I think TGS is the only place you could actually get a 20% discount on Dunbar. Yeah,
and like I said, you know, every now and then, like I said, Cigar Page will have some deals on Dunbarton, and I'll go look up on my
third party bought, right?
On my wholesale, and I'm like, God damn! I said I can buy them on Cigar Page cheaper than I can wholesale them for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not from Steve, because I don't have an account, so I got to go through Meyer and Dutch or Santa Clara. But they don't know where they're getting those cigars from either.
I heard Cigar Page is secondhand.
Yeah, they're getting them from a retailer, or several retailers. Because they don't want to raise suspicions. So yeah, Dunbarton doesn't know where Cigar Page is getting their cigars from.
And they're also not making money, from what I understand, and talking with a few people. They haven't turned $1 in profit yet either.
I don't know. I would say they you know, I would say they're probably turning a profit, because I know some of the cigars they're selling, you know, but I mean, obviously you lose money on, you know, those are your lost leaders, you know, Dunbarton. So they're just praying that you go there and you buy a 5-pack or a box of Dunbarton at an incredibly low price, and then you go there and then you continue to shop and you
pick up some Aristes,
you know, pick up some Aristes, you know, that are that they're making money on. You know, but not a whole lot of money, because they're still selling Risty stuff for, you know, like I pick up the
$350 a stick.
Yeah, I pick up the toothpick 2.0 for $250 a stick. You know,
see, I have no benefit going to Cigar Page anymore in my state. None. Zero, zilch. It's not even worth buying from Cigar Page at all anymore. Cigar Page, my state requires CI, Famous, JR, Cigar Page to all collect Colorado taxes, which means I might as well go down to the local lounge and buy something because it's the same price.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely nuts. But yeah,
I'm 99% smoking.
Yeah, I'm 99% of getting my cigars for free. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just throwing that out there. You know,
yep.
You know, so, yeah.
Steve pulls up in a van and just drops off pallets for Kevin.
Yeah, no. Steve sends me 5 cigars every year, and he sends Jessica 5 cigars every year. If he's feeling froggy and generous around Christmas time, you know, I'll you know, we might get a box, you know, but no. But with that being said, he has always said, if there's anything you guys ever need, like just he goes, just text me. You know, and we don't. I've known him 10 years now, and I've never once ever asked him for anything ever. You know, like a couple of years ago for Christmas, and he sent me a text, and he's like, "Hey, I know you're going to say no," but he goes, "What do you guys need?" And it was a Sober Mesa El Americano, and I go, "I'm almost out. Can you send me a 5-pack?" You know, and he did send me a box. You know, but you know, it's like, hey, I need a 5-pack to get me over till my next order. You know, at Smoke Inn, and he sent me a box. You know, so but yeah, it's Kevin, if anything this one, if you feel send me the extras. No, I don't have any extras. Just what they send me. You know, so.
Tony's all into boxes. So actually, when Juan was on my show right before the Great Smoke, Tony's like, "Hey, Juan, I don't need any cigars. Could you just send me an autographed box for my wall?"
Yeah.
So I got to make Tony. I did bring that up to Juan because Juan was actually working TGS and he was a wild man. So I plan on I'm reaching out to him tomorrow to check in with him, but I'm going to give him your information over.
Yeah. You know, and I do want to follow up, because a couple of years ago, a couple people had said to me, and one of them was a friend of mine, you know, said, "Oh, it must be nice getting free cigars and just smoking all the time." And I said, "Try it. You know how that works out for you. You know, you want my job? You want to take 3 hours to smoke a cigar, and then you don't even get to enjoy it because you got to take a picture and you got to set up and you got all that, you know, and you know, yeah, try it. You know, getting free cigars is nice, but you know, I'd almost rather pay for them and smoke them at my fucking leisure."
That's the thing. So like, this is where I calculate people out. It's at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to smoke a cigar. If you're smoking 3 for the review, you're looking at 6 hours. My time is worth more than $15 an hour, which is the cost of a cigar. So like, they're giving me a 5-pack at $15 a cigar. It's what is that, $75?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
oh yeah.
For when I used to do reviews, it was 8 hours to do editing, smoke multiple cigars, put it together, crop it, upload it. Like, you're losing money. So I was like, you want to smoke free cigars? Just become friends with them. It is a lot fucking easier to get free cigars walking around when you're a friend and they know you're a buyer than one of the reasons why I don't ask for things in this, and I don't take, I genuinely try not to, is because there's always the expectation of, I'm giving you this, what are you going to do with it? You know, and I don't want that in my world right now. but like it's not easy to get free anything because nothing's free. If they're sending you a 5-pack, they want something out of it. Obviously, you know, when you're friends with them, it's different.
Yeah. That's now it's just, you know, they see us, you know, out.
Yeah, it's totally different.
And it's just, you know, hey, here's 5, 6 cigars, 10 cigars, you know, see them at an event. It's at the end of the day. And it's just, they just hand you a box and it's for you.
Yeah. I walk around TGS. I probably had like 15 cigars shoved in my pockets.
Yeah. And there's no expectation at all. You know, it's like, hey, you know, you guys have spent years, you know, promoting us, you know, and it's just, you know, hey, here's a box of cigars. Here's cigars. It's the least we can do.
Correct.
You know, for you. And, you know, so.
I've always been, I mean, even back in the day when I was doing my show, you know, and never did advertisement. I just supported the brands that, you know, that especially with people, like you said, you get to know them, just supporting them and pushing, you know, folks who are your friends. I've maybe called me you know, silly for feeling this way, but, you know, it's more genuine when you do it that way versus it is, you know, hey, who made my top 10 list? Well, let's see who paid, you know, this and paid that. And, you know, there's some folks you're just like, I know who's going to be in their top 10 list or whatever. But if you smoke cigars, you genuinely love cigars and you know, there's no financial or obligation tied to it, you know, and the cigars that you are promoting and that you're really wanting people to try, it's because they're generally good cigars. And 9 out of 10 times, the people who are either representing that cigar or the owner are just super good people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. You know, speaking of that list, I was just looking at my list the other day for my the cigars that are in the running, and then I'll adjust the list as right now the PDR Siri Pravada. Oh my God, it's my #1 cigar of the year so far.
Really, Perla Del Mar? Not PDR, not PDR.
That's Abe Flores with
Abe Flores. I didn't even know he was still making cigars for himself.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen anything PDR in forever. He's never on shows. He's never talked about.
You're starting to see a little bit. I don't know if they had that big fire last year, and I don't think they did. It was another company that was storing their bands in boxes, and that was a little bit of a setback because I know Abe makes cigars for other people as well. I was trying to get him to see if he can do something for me because I really like what Abe blends.
I'm really glad that you said he had a really good cigar because every great cigar I've had from Abe has not been a PDR. It's been other blends he's done for other people.
Yeah, that Siri Pravada or whatever it's called. And
I'll have to try that.
It is crazy good. And but yeah, so I'm super stoked. I'm starting to see his social media team starting to do a little bit more on that. You know, I know I've been friends with Abe for a while, so he sent me some cigars recently, and I had bought some more online, just kind of diving through his profile because I hadn't smoked anything, you know, from him in a hot minute, you know, because I said it's just like, you know. Yeah, I mean, it'd been a while. It'd probably been a year or so.
The only sorry, Juan, love you, Juan Lopez. Please don't hold this against me if you're watching. My favorite Gurkha is the Aganorsa Trente and the Ghost. The Ghost was Abe, and the Trente is Aganorsa. Those are the only Gurkha cigars I think are great, like absolutely great cigars.
Yeah, I love what some of them are doing. You know, the one thing that I got, you know, I still smoke Gurkha, but because they do make some good cigars. I don't post a lot of social media on Gurkha because they don't care. I love Juan Lopez. He is a friend. He is a friend of mine. We can hang out all the time. But
no better person to drink with.
When you post a picture, you know, of like a Gurkha, you know, like when
love.
There's no love. There's no comments. There's no nothing, and like that makes me as someone that relies on social media for part of my income. Like I don't want to smoke your cigars. I don't want to take the time. I don't want to post your cigars because there's a lot to it. I'll still smoke them, but if you're not going to at least comment, if you're not going to accept my collaboration,
right.
if you're not going to repost, if you're not going to do anything, it's just like, at least I appreciate it because I don't have to take the time to post a picture of your cigar anymore, you know? So
right.
it's,
You know, one of the best piece of advice I've ever gotten when I did this, and I give this absolutely to Eric Gunderson of Cigar Dojo. I first reached out to him when I did the show. You actually, Kevin, you and Eric were the first two people I reached out to in doing the show. And Eric told me a statement that I'll never forget. Never forget, you're not doing this for them, or you're doing this for them. They're not doing this for you.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I took the approach of, oh, you're doing me a favor by coming on. But the reality is, I was doing them a favor by even having them. And that kind of changed that approach and mentality in my mind to where I love it when brands like respect that. Like Kerr. First, Kerr didn't know me from anybody other than through you. First time I had Kerr on. Hey, Kerr, where do I get your cigars? I want to get a couple. I know you got the Candelas. Kevin's talking. Kerr sent me 2 5-packs. He goes, no, dude, I'm coming on your show. Like, I'll send you a couple. Like, but like stuff like that shows a lot of respect for the time that we all cultivate to do this. Like, it's not much and it's a little bit, but it's always really nice when a company goes, oh, I'm coming on your show. It's like going to your house for a party. I'm going to bring a bottle of wine. I look at it kind of like that. Like, you're coming in here. I don't expect it. I'll buy it from anywhere because I don't. But like, it's awesome. Like that you're willing to go, here's a 5-pack. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I actually only meant to send you 1 5-pack.
Yeah.
Well, you sent me 2, and I was appreciative.
So, I'll tell you, Kerr and I have interviewed a lot of people, and we didn't smoke their cigar. We had never, still to this day, had never smoked their cigars. Like they're coming on the show, and if I don't bring it up. I don't say, hey, can you send us something for the show? That's not in anything. I'm like, hey, just come on, talk about your cigars. And I would probably say 75%, maybe more, will, I'm like, hey, let me send you something. Let me send you something before the show, and there are some people that never send it and I don't bring it up. We just talk about their blends and we just smoke something else on the show. Hey, Kerr, what are you smoking tonight? Oh, I'm smoking a Camacho, this or that.
Not from the guest.
Yeah.
See, I do always deband if I'm not smoking their brand.
Yeah.
That's nice of you.
Well, I do that because somebody had once pointed out, because the very first show I ever did with George Rico, Sean Sauergrad, who helped me launch the show at Smoking Cave Cigar Lounge here in Highlands Ranch, I was wearing a nub hat when I had George Rico on. And Sean pulls me aside. He goes, I know you're new in this, but don't wear or smoke another manufacturer's cigar when you interview. If you do smoke a different cigar, unband it out of respect. Yeah.
And then you have the, hey, before we bring on our we're talking to our guests, and let's get into the Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust cut and light, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust,
Well, yeah, I do that because that's the event. You tell everybody what you're smoking, but the only Steve wanted a segment. When Steve came out, he goes, I don't want to be a banner. I want a segment. He goes, I want a fucking segment. I'm like, I don't have a segment. He goes, you think of one, you get back to me, I'll sponsor the segment.
I've had my my list of questions and my whole show, because you guys know how I do the show.
Oh yeah.
I've had that whole layout for like 4 years for George Rico, and because I think I had him scheduled, and then something happened and he had to cancel.
Oh, dude, he's a good one to get on.
Oh, George, great.
I love George. I love George.
I got to go pee. You guys talk.
Right.
I loved George. What was so awesome, George Rico was the very first interview I did. We kind of kept in touch here and there. I called him back for my 4 year after that. He's like, dude, I want to partner with you. Like stuff like that. Like I did, the friends I've created and cultivated within this industry have been fearless in the sense of how they support the show. And even with you guys, Kerr, I know if I were to call you at any point in time, jump on the show this Thursday, if you could, you'll be there. Yeah. And like, I love the fact that we've all kind of cultivated these really close friends within this industry. And it's just been a hell of a ride, man. For 5 years, it's been a hell of a ride.
It is, and one of the things that when I had my own personal Facebook page, right? This is 10 years ago, what have you, and I had the Viajante Stogie Road was a group that I created, right? And then from there, excuse me, I created the page, right? And it evolved in the Viajante Kerr Viajante. And like you said, I met so many great people in the industry. And I was talking to Jennifer the other night about it. I'm like, when I think about the people who I consider close friends, people who I communicate with on a regular basis, I would say the majority of those folks are in the cigar industry.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of amazing. Like I said, I can remember like the first person I interviewed. I remember the first time Kevin and I actually had a live conversation outside of messaging each other.
I remember that.
It was we were talking about the hit and run. I was pulling out of a cigar shop in Columbia, South Carolina.
One of my first reviews was on the Hit and Run Redux.
And Kevin's probably like, why is this fucking guy calling me? Because we all know how much Kevin loves talking on the phone.
Despise talking on the phone.
I did not know that
picks up.
a long time ago, but we had a good conversation. It was a nice conversation about the cigar. And then he's just like, that's all right, goodbye. It's that commonality. And that's why, we joke around about politics and stuff like that. And even Kevin and I sometimes will get into politics here. We have viewers who will get a little pissy about it. And it's like, well, it's at the end of the day, you should be able to have a discussion about anything and then just move on from it because, it's this industry that's so great that it's, the uniter, if you will, the cigar, but don't take yourself too serious. And you'll learn that there's a lot of great people out there. And and one of the reasons why I spend more time on my page with Kerr Viajante than I do with my personal page is because I wanted to get away from a lot of that political crap that was always on my personal Facebook page. And now it's just over the last couple of years, it's just been invading everywhere. It's just so annoying because I just want to scroll through, see some funny pictures, see some great pictures of some cigars, and have some good dialogue back and forth. When I start seeing stupid posts about stupid things, especially now, how much crap is fake?
Oh, it's awesome.
It's unreal.
We had one of our loyal listeners every week, Ryan, and he doesn't watch anymore, but now he's over on your channel, so he watches your show every week instead of our show.
Cool.
And
we can say it afterwards after the show.
Kevin and I were sitting there chatting one day, and we were talking, and it was like, "All right, you guys had a great show until now. Goodbye, I'm done."
Oh, see,
anybody who watches our show, we know we talk about everything and anything. We always end off with aliens. That's just the way it goes. I mean, it literally goes through this: sports, politics, food, cigars, movies, and then freaking aliens. And then we just, and it's just two guys having a freaking conversation. What did you say, Kevin? When you watch Joe Rogan's show or the podcast, you almost feel like you're listening in on a private conversation, and that's kind of the way we have this conversation. It's like
it's the best way. Just
roll with it, man. And it just blows my mind the way some people act and the extremisms of things anymore. No one knows how to just be middle of the road. Or very few people know how to be middle of the road.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And in fact, I just scrolled back because I have my thing go back and save every text message. I called Kevin. I don't know if Kevin remembers this. I called Kevin after watching couple of years of his show in like a month, right? And I didn't know it was going to be Kevin. I just called Cigar Prop phone number to ask about something, and Kevin was you heard wrenching going on back. Hi, I was just had a question. I'm trying to get a hold of Kevin. He goes, "This is like, get the fuck out of here." He goes, "No, I'm not lying to you. This is Kevin." So after we got off the phone, I'd given Kevin my number, and the first text he ever sends me, this is how supportive you. First, make sure you send me the link to your YouTube channel. February 16th, I started the show at the very end of February. Was my first interview show, and I called Kevin to ask him interview questions. And he's like, I don't have a whole lot of time, but what's your question? He didn't know me from Adam. And then I reached out to Abe, and I actually I sent Abe a massive letter, and we've all had a good laugh about it at this point. But I remember telling Abe, I was like, yeah, he's like, who are you reaching out to into this? I'm like, Shahan's been, Shahan and Gunderson have been absolutely fantastic. He goes, well, I'm really glad Shahan has, because I've always told Kevin to make sure that he spreads around the knowledge that he's known and the help he's gotten.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so, but just like, again, not knowing me from Adam, Kevin was a huge help in this start, and technically competitor at the same time, and so it's just always been just arms wide open. This is one of the few communities I've ever been in where it's legitimately, you find people that actually root for your success, even though the world might see them as a quote unquote competitor in the space.
It's go ahead, Kev. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I hate answering I hate talking on the phone more than anything else. Every conversation can be a text, but like Ryan said, I will always pick up my phone. A month ago, I had a customer call up and I had a question about a product that he ordered, and then he goes, I hate to bother you, and then first he was like, this is actually Kevin. You answer your own phone. I'm like, yeah, who else the hell is going to answer my phone? Jessica. But he goes, I hate to call. I placed just a small order, and I go, let me stop you right there. I go, it's just me, Jessica, and the kids. I go, there's no such thing as a small order. Like we're the definition of a mom and pop company. So I'm like, don't think your order does not mean anything to us because it was small. And the guy was just like, oh my God, so.
Well, what's funny? No, I was gonna say what's funny about it is, it's like any industry, right? This is a little bit different, I think, but I probably say about 95% of the people you're going to meet are good people, really good, genuine people, and then you have your 5% that are just, the 5%, right?
Yeah, 5%ers, yeah,
the 5%ers. But I won't say any names here, but what's funny is I've known Kevin a long time now. I've known you. Gosh, several years.
Yeah, you were on the first year and a half of my show. I had you on.
Yeah, but Kevin, I can't remember. Was it 3 years ago, 2 years ago? When he called me up, he goes, "Hey, would you mind being co-host on the show? Would you like to join me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Second half of the season, I was like, "Yeah, sure, that'd be great," because I had done a show prior and I stopped doing the show. And I was like, yeah, sure, that'd be great. And we had a blast. I mean, when you go from hosting your own show and then being a co-host, like, I have no ego. I know my role, and I knew what my role was, and I'm very happy with being the co-host. This is a little bit different with Puff and Ponder, but it's Kevin's show. I'm there to help, ask additional questions, fill in blanks, be humorous at times, pick on Kevin, make him a little bit more human to the viewers, and then also if anything happens, pick up if Kevin's had his internet's going out or whatever. There's a certain role that you
play defense when there's assholes on.
Well, yeah, most definitely. With Brian to spend. I mean,
Okay, I wasn't going to throw the name out at all.
Well, no, I mean, you don't have to throw the name out. He came out of the gates attacking Kevin. I was like, yo, slow the fuck down, man. This is not fucking true. But I remember, and then Kevin was like, I was like, hey, am I still, do you still need me on the show? He's like, yeah. And I remember somebody was like, you got to watch out for that Kevin Shahan. He's sneaky. He's this, he's that. And it's how many years later that I had that conversation with somebody. And I could still say to this day, you're one of the most generous, genuine people. You're not fake. And helpful to anybody who needs help. So, if that's the definition of being fake, either I'm living in a bizarro world.
Yeah.
I'll start a fight for Kevin if Kevin's not there. and Kevin knows this. And I've expressed this to Kevin. My loyalties will always lie with Kevin. He's been a big reason of the success of the show, and he's been a big supporter. As far as I'm concerned, if I remotely heard anybody, I'd probably have some choice words in that stance. And again, it's only because Kevin, I feel, would do the same and be like, what the fuck are you talking about type deal, like I know it would be reciprocal in that.
I think to a point, I think Kevin is a little bit more objective when it comes to things. So I think he knows when to enter the fight and when not to enter the fight. I think I'm a little bit more fighty.
I swing.
Yeah. And don't rain on my parade, Ryan. I'm trying to butter up Kevin so I get some more free cigars when his 10-year anniversary.
I've got Kerr, I'm going to see you in a week. I have a bag sitting to my right on the floor.
Did I tell you how great you look in that speedo, Kevin?
And there is a bag of cigars here for you.
Well, but no, I mean, joking around, Ryan. It is, that's just like, I think that the genuine nature of shit. He is more than just a sexy face. He also looks great in his all-American underwear.
I will say though, how many people don't recognize Kevin without glasses or a hat on?
Yeah,
I just gotta say, at TGS, he could have been standing right next to me, no glasses, no hat. I goosed the wrong person thinking it was Kevin.
He did. Yeah, it was the guy, the Black Label, the Black Works booth said that. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just being very generous and helpful, and I was just really happy to be part of the show and just kind of lend a helping hand or do whatever it is. And Kevin's always been very generous and, hey, let's abandon this, let's do this together, let's collaborate, let's do this puff and ponder, so I always whenever someone gives me fair warning about someone who I already know, I automatically take a step back and I listen. I don't always attack, Ryan. I soak it in to listen to what they're saying. Then I take that information and I think that person is more or less talking about themselves versus the individual that they're trashing, or like on Facebook, we're talking about the whole, politics and stuff, right?
Keyboard tough guys.
I'll say it. I don't give a shit. I was friends with Boston Jimmy for years. The fucking guy.
A lot of people were.
He unfriended me and blocked me because I put a smiley face after a political post.
Oh yeah. Because he said if any of you like laugh at this or something, and
I'm like, are you seriously that immature? Because I always liked Jimmy. I got along with Jimmy. I actually ran into him when we were down in St. Augustine at Leaf and Bean. Jim Robinson, has a great shop down there. It's freaking beautiful. If you ever get down to St. Augustine, make sure you go to Leaf and Bean. He has a place in Pittsburgh.
I've heard of it.
And he's got one in St. Augustine. I tell you what, awesome place, great bar, great humidor, a lot of good selections of some of the traditional brands, but a great selection of boutiques, but it's Island Jim. He's always hanging out, super nice guy, great place. And he's having an event down there, and I ran into Jimmy. It was good to see. I got to meet him for the first time. So, I don't understand where we've turned a blind eye or just missed this slope that's going on in society that, you're willing to just, cut out friends and family over something that is a politician who you'll never meet. They don't give two snapping shits about you.
Not at all.
So I just find it really funny when you have these conversations or when somebody takes an action like that, I just kind of go, well, now I know where my value was in your eyes. If
you were never valued.
Exactly. Because if it's so easily removed and dismissed,
yes,
then there was really never a value there. It was either fake,
correct,
or you found that there was a benefit, or you needed me for something, or you were using me, and I think that's a pretty fair assessment across the board when you face people like that.
I agree. And in fact, I had a really, really close friend. Without giving his name away, we always called him Shorty. And he was like 6'6", 6'7", right?
Right.
You got a lot of feedback coming in now, Kev.
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, there you go. You fixed it.
Okay.
One of my favorite pictures of my wedding with just guests is him and I doing the whole Pearl Jam poster. We're leaning against each other's back, dancing, not dancing, but just in the middle doing air guitar in the middle of our dance floor. It's one of my most favorite. I can't even look at it. He was a big Bernie Sanders. This is a guy who's known me for probably 10 years prior to this. We hung out every Thursday. We'd do Thirsty Thursdays at his house. He'd have 2 or 3 kegs. It was a thing, right? One of his roommates is one of my best friends in the world for over 20 years, to tell you how long I've known him. And the whole Bernie Sanders thing came about. We had a disagreement and he cut me off entirely. And I had no idea why. Like, he literally was like,
it's because he knows that you don't like Bernie Sanders.
But dude, like, me as a person.
Yeah,
like, I'm not a racist.
I am once again asking for a free cigar.
Yeah. But like, it's a shame. And I was actually talking about this with Knowles at the event. I think one of our biggest problems was, not Knowles. It was my aunt. I think one of the biggest problems is
like Knowles?
No, my I couldn't remember who I was talking. I couldn't remember who I brought this up with. But my aunt and I were talking about, because my aunt and uncle come up on Sunday to visit me. They live in Vero, or come down. So we were talking, and it's crazy how, like, 50s, 60s, it was don't share anything. 60s, 70s, it was a little bit freer. But as a society, politics and religion is something we don't talk about. And I think we've lost the understanding of even how to broach the subjects, because we don't talk about them at all, right? Like, and I think we've lost the ability. So when we talk about them now, it's angry. It's fuck you. You don't like my guy? Screw you. It becomes sports driven versus intellectual discussion.
It is, because now people's political beliefs or their socioeconomic belief, whatever that is, whatever pronouns, whatever, that is, that becomes your life.
It's ingrained. Yes,
it is. That's the hill you die on, and you have to accept this. Like, no, there's no such thing as let's have a discussion. No, there's no discussion. Either you believe what I believe in, or we're not friends anymore.
Yep.
And it's just like, wow, why can't? Yeah, why can't we talk about? Yeah, why can't we talk about this? Because there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
or Orange Man bad. That.
Or it's Matilda. It's Matilda. Point, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm big, you're little. Like,
it's red and blue. I'll have to send you a book, Ryan, a small book called "The Slope We Stopped Seeing." It really kind of touches on this change in society. And because back years ago, it was always, politics and policy was always downstream from society, right? So society was acting this way and did this and the beliefs, and then finally it would go downstream, hit politics and policy, and then obviously, anybody who wants to get elected or reelected, they're going to go ahead and follow suit and start adding on. Now with social media, it's not even downstream anymore. It's right next door to each other. That's why you see a lot of these politicians will switch their belief system, and you pull up a video of any of them, what they said 10 years ago, completely different from what they're saying today because it's not popular. And then to Kevin's point, so many people I think are just so fragile that they can't be wrong. That
ego.
When they do say, I voted for this person, that if you don't believe, if you don't vote, if you're not in the same freaking echo chamber that I'm in, then I don't want you around me because I can't have you here. And it's like, that's when you stop growing. is when you stop
Yep.
losing the diversity of your friends and the people you interact with. And it's just people don't want to do that. And I think use the best analogy. It's politics now has the ridiculous veracity of sports loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wear your jersey, it's like both political sides leaning more in one area. It's like showing up to an Eagles game in the 700 level wearing a Dallas Cowboys shirt in the fourth quarter. You could be the nicest person in the world. You could probably have commonality with everybody up there, but you're going to get the shit kicked out of you because you're wearing a Dallas Cowboys jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the sports, there are so many Patriot fans out there in the political world. Just the bandwagons. I'm going to trade this flag for this flag,
yes,
for this flag, for this flag. Hey, who's popular? Like what are we doing this week?
Companies do it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know what my Facebook profile or my Twitter profile should be this week. Am I the black background with the blue stripe, or my this stripe? Like what are we doing this week? Because my life sucks, and so I have to proclaim everything on the internet to feel part of society, to feel that I matter. Versus just,
and if you have a question, on what flag you should use, Facebook will have a variety of what's popular.
Yes. Oh, that never ending.
You know what it is? Where both of you are a little bit older than me, not much. I don't think so. What do you care?
I'll be 56 this year.
Oh, I hope I look that good at 56. I'm going to be 40. I'm going to be 41.
What was that? There was almost that moment with.
I didn't expect that.
Thanks for joining the Puff and Ponder podcast.
I didn't expect you to say. I didn't expect you to say 56.
Who is interviewing Don Cheadle, the little guy? Like you're saying, like, God damn!
That was it was Kevin Hart. Was it Kevin
Hart? You're like, God damn! You're like,
it's like I looked at Lars. Lars told me he's almost 60. I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But like either way, you guys don't have like too massive difference on me. When did live and let live become something that doesn't happen anymore?
COVID.
Okay, so we're saying 2020, 2021 is drastic change of
huge.
live and let live.
Huge change because a lot of folks stopped socializing. Everyone started, had to live via phone, text message, freaking video call, Zoom calls and stuff like that. And then when things started getting back to normal, people didn't. It changed.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
A lot. I mean, like Kevin said, it not only changed I think the social construct of our society. I think it changed a lot of things. At that point, you were able to go from going to school, going to work, going to wherever, and having social interactions with people to actually going online. And that's where you actually I said actually like 50 times there. You started to go and find more of those echo machines and echo chambers. And
correct.
And it becomes the best way I know how to describe it from the way I view it, it becomes very cult-like. It's religion. It's religion. Very scary to the point, especially when you have some folks that are so dead set and horribly freaking viciously, attacking folks. And then they have the nerve to attack Christianity or this religion or that religion. And I'm like, dude, y'all are fucking worse, man. I mean, when you think about it, it gets very brainwashed. It's scary.
David Koresh was 20 years too early. David Koresh and 20. God,
my God,
he'd have 1 million followers. Right now.
Oh, I agree.
When you want to manipulate, the first thing you got to do is isolate. Right? Is you isolate people and then you're able to spoon feed them what you want them to know. So you separate, isolate, and then you start freaking,
That cigar
start
smoking. Yeah, they don't know how to socialize anymore. COVID broke a generation.
Okay,
They
so
broke an entire generation.
100%.
it did, but look at Juan Juan. Juan Juan said he had heart issues that his cousin did due to the COVID vac. He was still guilted into taking it. Like I can't remember a time.
There was
I can't
guilting.
remember a time that there was guilting and you're gonna kill your grandparents. Like my buddy's mom called me out of the blue. Now we're super close, so she was able to do this and get away with it. And I love her still. But she called me out of the blue and she goes, "You must not care too much about your daughter." And I'm like, "What?"
I think there was
Babies aren't getting COVID.
You had your guilting, but you also had a lot of mandatory. It was a combination of both. Now, I personally, just because of the industry I've been in over the years, I do understand and I do see the importance of medicine and
you've been in healthcare for
100.
years.
I mean, but I see the importance of medication and vaccines. So I am not an anti-vaxxer.
No, not at all.
At all. I think that there's a reason why we don't. It's like, hey, why don't we have polio anymore? I wonder why. Why do we have an outbreak of polio over here? Well,
I agree with you.
Vaccine, it's interconnected and interrelated. And I think that in a situation when we had the outbreak that we had, there was a desperation to figure out how do we get a control on this thing. And
I mean, I got vaxxed, Wyatt, Wyatt's got Down syndrome. Wyatt's got a compromised immune system. I couldn't live with myself knowing that I brought something home that potentially could kill my son, or do irreparable harm. I couldn't live with it.
But the vaccine is not 100%. Juan said that he got COVID 3 times. I got COVID as well.
I got COVID twice.
I had COVID once, had it pretty bad. I was jacked up. And the brain fog was horrible. It was so bad that I got it in January, right after New Year's, and I don't remember the month of February. Or even the month of January. I kind of got my bearings in March. But any vaccination, especially the flu, people get the fucking flu vaccination without any thought. I'm going to go to CVS and get it. And it's got it's got like the 75%, 70% efficacy, even if that. And that's only it's strange.
You get the right. Yeah, people get that knowing that they might not pick the right strain.
Correct.
But they only have the vaccination for the one strain. But I'm saying is that the efficacy of that vaccination is still, it's not 100%. It's not going to be 100%. But the one thing is true is that it also makes sure is probably the wrong term to use, but it also has been shown that if you do get the flu and you've been vaccinated, it's not as bad. It's not as severe.
Robert Holt's the most severe case of COVID I know within the cigar world that I heard.
Really?
It put him, it scared the shit out of him. It put him down from what I understood.
It put Jessica in the hospital for 5 days.
Did it really? I didn't even know that.
They wanted to put her on a ventilator. And
it got that bad.
Thank God our daughter is a nurse. And just did everything. Here, if you go on a ventilator, you're not coming out of the hospital.
That's the worst.
No,
Jessica did everything. Amber, and luckily we had Kerr and Jen and Jeff Borshowitz at Corona Cigar called every single day. He sent like the special water, like hydrogenated water. But Jessica was in the hospital for 5 days.
Bad.
I didn't know that.
So she was real bad. I mean, I got COVID pharyngitis, which that's the worst thing I've ever had in my life. I mean, I gargled with morphine and it didn't help, It was
the sickest I ever was. I can honestly tell you when I finally got better and I got it. I went to the doctors on January 6th and then about a week later it just got worse and I went back again. When I went in, my blood pressure was that high. the blood pressure machine was red and like flashing.
Wow.
And the second time I went in, my O2 levels were low, and they kept me in there. They gave me some medication. They kept me in there for an hour because they had to get it up and back up in the 90s, or they would have had to admit me. And when I even tell Jennifer, I'm like, I never want to be that sick again, because the brain fog, along with being sick, was that scary. The only way I can compare it is when I was in college, we were playing Catholic University, and I hit a guy, and it was at the end of the game, and I don't remember anything after that point until 9 o'clock that night. I remember nothing.
Oh, you got rung.
Yeah, it was one of those Earl Campbell things where we hit head on.
Ooh.
And he rolled off into the end zone, and I kept playing. I didn't know. And concussion protocols back then at a Division III school was kind of like
it was rub some dirt on it. Here's the salt.
It was hey, Kerr. Yeah, he knows who he is. You know. So that was our concussion protocol. No, actually, I shit you not, Ryan. The concussion protocol was after the game. The trainer looked at the one my roommate who was playing with me. He goes, "Hey, just make sure he doesn't fall asleep because he may not wake up." So I remember at 9 o'clock at night, the next thing I remember is I'm sitting there in my bed, and I look up, and my roommate's sitting there looking at me drinking a beer. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm making sure you don't fall asleep, you asshole." And that was.
Is that still a thing? Is that still a thing here?
It is.
Oh, is it okay that you don't fall asleep? I didn't know if that was like
brain bleed. You don't know if your symptoms are getting worse. You know, you're asleep. So
okay. I didn't know if that was still a thing.
It's brain swelling and brain bleed. You could definitely freaking not wake up. So that's the only. But now that moment from like 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 9 o'clock at night, I experienced that from mid-January until the end of February.
Jeez.
I don't remember any of it. And then afterwards, coming into March, it had taken me about a month to really be able to – I still to this day have hard time trying to find words, to articulate. But I still think it had some long-term effects. But through March, I felt like I was trying to learn how to speak again. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, Jessica took a year off work.
See, I lost taste for like 3 days, but it didn't drop me like that.
God, I'd love that loss of taste.
I lost taste. I'll never forget.
Have to worry about what you eat or smoke. It'd be awesome.
Smoking cigars was terrible.
I will tell you, Kevin, the way the food feels is much more of an effect when you can't taste it.
Yeah.
The whole thing just sucked at not tasting. I mean, smoke. It was like, why smoke a cigar? Why even did I remember? I came downstairs. I took a sip of my coffee, and I was like, I could taste again. I ran out and I grabbed the cigar. I was like, fuck yeah. But I know a guy locally here at the cigar shop. He for years, his taste was that jacked up that everything that he drank, ate, or smoked tasted like garlic.
Oh yeah, the garlic. I've heard that before. It tastes like garlic.
That's crazy.
For years like that. And that, there. And I remember talking to Dr. Rodriguez about this from GTO Cigars. I mean, he was, Dr. Rodriguez, he's a doctor. He is an emergency room.
He's
critical care. He's the real deal, Holyfield.
He is.
And I would talk to him during this time, and he would tell me just how bad it was. And, they were looking at everything from blood types. Certain people's blood types had better, worse reactions because the virus, would really kind of it impacted you at a DNA at a molecular level. But it was a scary time, and everyone was looking for an answer and a response. And when you have a vaccine that's been released, it definitely was one of those things that looked like this is going to help everyone. And, I think for the most part, I think it did what it was supposed to do. I think time will tell, and history will be the truth teller of the impact that it had on people positively, and the long-term effects that it has on people with the side effects. But you can't put anything into your body. I don't care if it's an antibiotic, or even everyone says, I want to do natural. I'm going to do natural. I'm a little depressed. I'm going to take St. John's wort. What do you think St. John's wort does? blocks the reuptake of your serotonin, just like freaking an antidepressant does. Like a Paxil or a Prozac. It's just something in the nature does that. It still has side effects. It still has an impact on your body. So you have to be really understanding that whatever you put in your body is not only going to have a benefit, but it does also possibly have a side effect. It's just, are the benefits worse than the side effects?
Yeah.
And that's why when people start talking about natural stuff, it's like, dude, freaking poison grows it naturally. You can go pick the wrong mushroom and it freaking breaks apart your DNA and you bleed.
Kills you.
You bleed from the inside out. Oh, but I ate a natural mushroom.
It's natural. Yeah.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah, what was it? The little trumpet flower or whatever that grows down here in Florida. Yeah, if you eat it, you die.
Hold on.
It's natural.
Eve ate an apple, and we all got sin. So natural.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
It was a piece of fruit. Just saying.
There you go. Don't eat apples.
Don't eat
apples.
But since we
trust
talked
white women named Eve will hold an apple.
Since we talked about aliens earlier, I did want to bring up the fact before we did end the show. Did you guys see the fact that Trump ordered the release of the UFO files?
Oh yeah.
In February of this year.
He did, and he according to his daughter-in-law, he has got a speech prepared for June.
I know. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're gonna find out. We're not the only ones officially.
I also read that Steven Spielberg was saying that his movie he's releasing is more than just a movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's they contacted Spielberg about it.
I didn't even know he had a new movie coming out.
You haven't seen the preview for Disclosure?
No, I don't have TV.
Oh my God! You've got to watch. You got to go on YouTube and watch
now. It's called Disclosure.
It's called Disclosure.
I will watch it.
It's because we've got.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry, he said he passed away. His cousin passed away.
Sorry.
So that's sorry
to hear about that, brother.
So we've got what was happening in June or July? We got something going on with the solstice, and then we got September is when with the red star or the blue star of Regulus, when that appears over the it's in the constellation of Leo, which will rise above the Sphinx in September. And if there is a dust storm in Egypt at that time, that blue star or the white star will appear red on the horizon right above the Sphinx, and that's when society changes. So that's the prophecy. Now that's really going to happen. That star, that is when on this particular day, it's in the constellation Leo. It is going to appear directly above the Sphinx on the horizon. So that's a lock. It's going to be.
Isn't there supposed to be a comet or a meteor coming that's going to fly below our satellites, in between the satellites?
Yes. I forget when that's coming. That's a few years.
Isn't there one that's coming like thousands of feet from the Earth or something?
Well, that's the one.
It's hundreds of thousands of miles.
Yeah, thousands of miles. Yes,
it's basically going to fly below the orbit of our
solar system, Isn't it flies below the USS, the solars. The solar thing that's up there. Space station.
Yeah.
Like solar system. That's a big place.
Yeah,
that's it. So he had mentioned I think that passed today, didn't it? The generational tobacco ban in the UK.
Did it really?
I believe we have one state here in the US that passed that law, or it's about to pass as well, to where they pick a date. And then you can never buy cigars or to buy tobacco product. If
they already did that in New Zealand, right? And Australia.
I believe New Zealand passed it. I don't think Australia passed it. I think New Zealand.
I don't think that it'll ever hold water in SCOTUS.
I don't know.
Be challenged. Yes, the UK generational ban takes effect January 1, 2027. And if you're older than January 1 of 2009, you could smoke.
So that was what one of the
Wow.
big complaints about of these generational tobacco bans. When they take effect, I think it was
New
one of
Zealand.
the northeastern states, and it was like, hey, if you pass this law, say January 1st, 2026, it should be January 1st, 2026. You can't backdate it, 20 years or 15 years.
What they're doing is who's legal right now.
The lifetime tobacco ban bills are introduced in Massachusetts, Indiana, and Hawaii, and that was
introduced, but they haven't been passed.
Okay, so
they will be struck down.
Yeah, it should be that anybody born in 2026
I agree.
will never be able to buy tobacco.
Right.
I can understand that because we have 21 years from now to figure that shit out. But to backdate it 20 years, like some of these bands have proposed.
No,
I guess their rationale is who's ever legal today can smoke at the time of the ban.
So I don't know. I think that's one I think that's one person taking that to the Supreme Court and that gets overturned.
Oh, and I don't even think it would take to the Supreme Court. I think it would actually be stayed. The second it was passed, it would be challenged, and there would be a stay. It wouldn't even go full into any sort of an effect at all. I think it would be thrown out.
Because here, obviously, we're different than the UK, but here, we have like laws that says state can't override, a federal law. It's just not allowed. So how can these states?
No. States can be more strict than federal. They can't make something legal that federal has made illegal.
That's what it is. That's what I was thinking of. Yes.
They can't supersede federal law.
Yeah.
But they can go more strict. So like I'm a huge gun guy. Without getting at guns, I don't have a problem with the state going, you gotta be 21, but I have a problem with the federal government going, you gotta be 21. Because it should be left up to the states. But when it comes to a generational ban, it's going to be argued, like, why not ban alcohol? Alcohol single-handedly, and I don't give a shit about what anybody says, alcohol single-handedly has killed, destroyed, maimed, and ruined more lives in its history of birth than any other drug on the planet.
My cold, dead hands.
Oh, dude, I'm right with you. I'm right with you.
But what's funny is when you talk about these different bans on cigars, it says, I just real quick just said something like, but there's more local governments are actually implementing these bans in Massachusetts and California. But to your point, Ryan, right? You have, you won't see the Winston Cup anymore, right? Because cigarettes, they're bad, and smoking cigarettes is bad, but they don't mind, different vodkas and tequilas. But the bans on flavored cigars and flavored tobacco, because it'll attract young smokers, right?
It's bullshit.
Right? That's what they say.
Bullshit. That's what they
However, the blowing up of different freaking drinks and alcoholic ice cream. You have alcohol ice cream, and it's like, hey, there's a gallon of freaking tequila, freaking chocolate, freaking monkey over there. That's perfectly fine. That's not going to attract any kids to want to eat any freaking alcohol ice cream. But yet, a freaking flavored cigar is. So alcohol just seems to be blowing up even more and more and more and more. And I think in the next 5 years, you're going to probably see some people hammering it, because they're right now. I mean, the THC drinks are blowing up, and I think everyone's desperately scrambling to try and regulate the THC drinks.
They're in Colorado. They're already very regulated.
Yeah,
Colorado is the only state when the laws passed. Well, Colorado is the only state when it was passed. I don't know beyond this, if any others, but like California was the first state to make it legal for marijuana at the bill level. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it was just a bill. Colorado actually, from what I understand, wrote it into their state constitution, which made Colorado a different form of legalizing marijuana, because if it's just a bill, the AG, the Attorney General for the state, does not have to actually argue or defend the state when it's just a bill. The state would just remove the bill. But because Colorado actually has marijuana written into their state constitution, from what I understand, the AG actually would have to sue the federal government if the federal government ever came after Colorado with any sort of cease and desist on marijuana. But when you go into a dispensary here in Colorado, all the drinks are heavily regulated. It's one drink is usually 10 milligrams of THC, which what they say is the equivalent of one pull off of a pipe of marijuana.
Okay, I was going to ask you that. What the I don't know what the
that's what they say. That's what they say. One drag off of a bowl is the equivalent of ingesting 10 milligrams of THC. Oh, okay. So when you buy a cartridge of oil, you can only buy 8 cartridges because they equate one single cartridge to an eighth of pot.
Oh, okay.
You can only legally buy 1 ounce of marijuana a day in the state of Colorado.
That's it.
Okay.
Well, they limited that, Kerr, because when they first had it on,
that's a lot though. An ounce a day.
When they first had it though, they limited it. So when they first had it, out-of-state residents were limited to 1 ounce. In-state residents had no limit. So what they were finding is in-state residents were buying pounds at a time and taking them over state borders.
Well, yeah, they learned the hard way. Once they opened up Pandora's box, they realized, oh shit, we got to freaking regulate this because we done fucked up.
But at the same time, I can buy 10 kegs and take them anywhere I want.
Yeah,
it's the same equivalency.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see too many high people freaking getting into fights at a bar.
Robin Williams had the greatest explanation on this in his live. I think it was his live on Broadway or live in Vegas, where he had the table full of water bottles. And
Yeah.
And he goes into like the marijuana commercial where it shows him driving through McDonald's. He goes, the only reason why I would ever get off the fucking couch if I'm stoned is because I knew there was a giant Hershey bar wherever I was going. Mm-hmm. But like, it's a different mentality. People look at marijuana as but alcohol and marijuana have been so ingrained in our system. The very first legal crop you were forced to grow in this country was hemp. If you were able to grow hemp, you were required to grow hemp. That was one of the very first crop forcing grow laws. The original Declaration of Independence, the original Declaration of Independence and Constitution are written on hemp paper. The original boat ropes were hemp.
Yep. Yeah, it was the non-THC hemp.
Tobacco. All back in those days, hemp still had THC. Hemp still has a level of THC. Yeah, it's just now we're able to genetically remove the THC to grow just straight hemp. But back in the days, the original drugs of this country, if you're going to label them that, was alcohol, hemp, and tobacco. That was it. Those 3 things, without those 3 things, we really wouldn't have the country we have, especially tobacco. We were the largest tobacco grower in the world, and now we hate tobacco.
Yeah.
You know, we are the country that made alcohol transportable. Without the pale ale, the Budweiser, the original pale ale, beer was not transferable in long distances. It was local grown. It was local stuff. It was within 30, 40, 50 miles of the distillery or the factory. It wasn't until we created the pale ale that allowed us to actually ship it all over the world. You know, like, and so it's just crazy to me on a country. We've done a 180 on really what made us a country, in my opinion, in many ways. I don't know. It's just 2 cents that nobody cared to hear about.
No,
I love it. I think that's a good spot to leave everybody with tonight. Ryan, thank you for coming on, spending
always. Thank you so much. Always love it.
Kerr and I will be back this coming up Monday night with the crew from HDA Cigars.
Yeah.
We'll be talking like our pre-PCA show with them, seeing, I think last year was their first PCA. So we're going to see what those guys have been up to since we talked to them last. And yeah, great dudes. And next Tuesday night, I'll be with Cigar Coop and Bear. It's going to be a great show. It's not like a round table show this time. It's just they're going to be interviewing me as cigar prop. So I'm super excited to talk to those guys. And
congratulations, that's awesome.
Thank you very much. Coop and I have we had our following out there years ago, but we've mended all that, and we're
that's like going on with Walter Cronkite.
Yeah. Oh, it is super stoked.
Coop's a good guy, though. Like you said, you end up falling out with him, but he's so a good, genuine, reasonable guy. Big bygones be bygones. Great.
That's it. Great. Love him. Great guy. Yeah. So, all right, Ryan, hang out with us for a second, and then we'll see everybody on this coming up Monday night.
See you.